On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, well, there's some stuff happening in Arcade that we probably should talk about, assuming you aren't already in Japan right now writing about it. Also, there's going to be a Teach Me Omega-sensei that is probably going to be pretty cool. Wait to the end. Alright, okay, thanks, bye. But don't go, because I'm one of your hosts, Omega, and with me as always is Lucky, but you might not hear him over the sound of him smashing the emergency button.
That wasn't the button, that was me. Yeah, no, listen, I am fucking dead right now. It's been 30 seconds. I'm saying it. I'm starting it. I'm already opening up my sugar-free monster, which is probably not good for me, but I'm drinking anyway. But anyway, hello everyone. I hope you're all enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka Caster Out of Left Field. And while we here at Studio Maker like to bring you the latest in FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for both the JP and EM version of the game, so anyone not wanting spoilers should get ready to scream about SITA.
This is we're almost in like a reverse spoiler situation, because Arcade is in such a weird place where it's technically behind in the story, kind of.
Yeah, no, I believe they are just announced they are doing the 5th Singularity.
Yes, which is why certain things are happening, but we'll talk about that in a second. So, yeah, there's our high-level overview. We're doing all that stuff. Lucky may have cut it very close to the 30-second mark with that swear, but he's very tired. We're professional sleep boys. We'll see what happens. So, I would like to remind everybody this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Adam DeHarp, Ahega Comics, Architect 10, Blackness OG, Carlos, Qua, Jeremy Vasquez, Kylie Jen, Legendary Boss Hunter, Liam Kessler, Rogue Robin, Shawnee P, some guy named Bob, Sodasan 0424, 723, Vinegar Safe, and Zach Reed. If you like we do want to see some more, consider supporting Patreon and get access to episodes early on. Some of the guys really helps us out. Thank you for support, everybody. Lucky already popped his can.
I already did.
Okay day. Sorry. Stretching, rolling, doing some stuff. Well, now we're like 2 minutes in, so we can definitely go ahead and let's just jump right the flump into everybody's favorite Kohai. I'm gonna hit a button.
Flump into Kohai.
Senpai, 起きてください.
That's right, everybody. It's time for Wake the Fuck Up Senpai, our regular segment for pro tips. Guess what? This week is weird because I don't know. Just, I guess, don't be afraid to try new things and keep it tough content by trying new things. Remember to diversify your roster. Invest in an auto clicker.
That's what Omega has to say, but sleepy, somewhat useless Lucky over here is here to remind you that if you do not complete the challenge quest with what they have, do not despair over it. They are made to be ridiculous. They are made to be hard. They are made to have to require very certain specific setups, high levels and skills and servants and whatnot. As they said when they started this off, when you basically start it, it's nothing serious.
Yeah, it's a whole thingus, but I'm sure we'll be back to talk about that one later.
Aye.
All right, I'm going to stop farming the event though, because
I'm not. I need to start. Lucky has literally spent the past 22 hours reading a light novel and has foregone sleep over this. He does not make wise life choices.
That's okay. I can take 5. Yeah, no, we'll talk more about other stuff. But this does kind of the reason why I can take 5 does kind of fork into our first topic, Records on the Throne, a record achievement topic. I've gotten all 10 grand prize boxes. I'm at like box 12 right now, but I got all 10 of the core ones, the special giddies. I'm obviously going to try and get some more reps done for more EXPs and stuff as well, but right now I'm focused on clearing out the shop. I've gotten everything I want out of fries. I'm working on dogs, but that's a weird node, so I would need to use my brain to figure out my setup, which is not currently possible because I am about to use my brain to record this show, so I will farm Azure Lane instead. That requires no brain, but
Lucky will do all 3. But that's it for that, and we have not all the world's evil. Nothing of particular ill has happened, so we're gonna move on to.
I mean, Lucky, I know you're sleepy, but I would like to remind you, you didn't actually say your thing you've got written down here.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
So I just protected Chiba's and Sanson's smile. People might be asking why Sanson is because Sanson was literally the earliest servant that I had gotten that I had not leveled. Because, like I said with people, right now my priority isn't on particular servants. I just feel bad for the servants I've had the longest who don't have any levels. So I've literally gone by acquisition. And Sanson first in line. Who was next, actually? don't remember. Anyway, now I have said it. Yes.
Alright, so, that'll give me an opportunity to move on to our next topic. As Lucky mentioned, there's not really any All the World's Evil. We skipped all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I will talk about, did you finish your master missions? Which, theoretically, you might not have, because you might be going apeshit with lotto drops. Because, you're gonna need to get 50 burger drops, you're gonna need to get 50 fries, 50 strong dogs, 100 lotto tickets, and complete 5 and 10 Gilfest quests. So, do the event, but actually do the whole event, not just farm lotto mindlessly.
Well, you might want those golden apples. So honestly, if you do them once each, you might get the 50 of each, maybe.
Yeah, you might need to make sure to actually do your CE setup so you can get some bonus drops if you got them. But yeah, no, just actually take a turn at each node, get your extra quartz frags. That's fine. Plus, you can buy some great materials in that shop with those things. Also, though, just thinking about this logically, it's crazy. Like, can you imagine ordering 50 fries, 50 burgers? Nuts. Crazy.
It makes me think, one of the craziest fast food orders in America was a Taco Bell order where someone ordered a ridiculous amount of I believe it was the Nacho Dorito tacos. I'm pretty sure it was for a party or something, but boy howdy.
Yes.
Actually, now I'm curious. Hang on.
Alright, well, since we'd have to move on to skelegrams and big news, let's just go ahead and do that. But yeah, no, it's funny because, like, you might think, oh, well, yeah, Saberalter could eat 50 burgers. But the thing is, these are currency that you turn into Shiba. So what are you really doing? The gold makes sense, though. She gives you Gil's gold so you could pay it back to her. There's definitely some kind of something there.
I don't know. Alright. Google search has not brought it up. Whatever. It's probably in the Guinness Book of World Records somewhere.
Internet, help Lucky out. Comment on this about the story about the 5 billion Taco Bell tacos or whatever. Dorito nachos. But we will move it on then, if there's nothing further, into what I'm sure the people are scintillating about this week, vibrating, oscillating back and forth about, high frequency, maximum rioting. So this is a bit of JP news. I don't know if it was because of Tokyo Game Show, but it was around that time. And FGO Arcade did a stream, guys. In case you didn't know, they did a stream. Lucky mentioned it earlier that they are moving on to their 5th Singularity, America, E Pluribus Unum release.
Yes.
Which, in addition to, I believe, putting Coup Alter in the game and some other stuff, came with a surprise release of Proto Merlin.
Yes.
Which made everybody go into this uproar that I've mentioned. They've just got into the thing. They're doing the stuff. They're just yelling and hooting and hollering.
Yeah, it's to be expected. Again, FGO Arcade has gotten a unique limited servant, and people over on mobile side are like, what about us?
Well, so I guess we should start there. We can start with the quote-unquote outrage train.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a good point to remind everybody that yes, Arcade does get a lot of stuff. Some of it is, I'm sure, most assuredly because it's easier for Arcade to implement certain things like costumes that is in FGO. All you got to do is, well, for especially for some of the minor costumes, you just have to reskin your models, rather than having to actually redraw all the new sprites and stuff. Depending on what you're working with 3D modeling, that can be easier, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of stuff that has gone on in Arcade has actually eventually shown up in Core FGO when it's been appropriate. Everybody complained, myself included. Big riot, big vibrate about DaVinci Small showing up in Arcade for, I believe it was a Children's Day promo. America has stuff like National Fried Chicken Day, and in Japan they've got Elderly Day and Children's Day and stuff.
Listen, here in my land, every day is International Curves Appreciation Day. That's it. That's all I need. That's all I think need.
Put that on a sticker. Anyway, we probably could put that on a sticker. Anyway. So yeah, no, this is not unprecedented.
No.
Arcade has gotten several goodies before Core FGO. Like I said, DaVinci Small was one of them. They also have currently an exclusive. They got I suppose it's Holiday Helena. I don't think her name actually says like Santa or Christmas in it anywhere.
Nah.
But they got special Holiday Helena, which is currently exclusive to them, but we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And now, Merlin prototype, voiced by Ayako Kawasumi, just like you hear in Arthur's NP. And a lot of people were kind of surprised. They figured this would come up in the slot that Castor Artoria appeared. Though I will say, while she is voiced by Kawasumi, it's still Taiki, Merlin's artist, but her art style really is not like Artoria. Like, it's not even like other people drawing a saber face. She looks very much like Lady Merlin, which we might talk more about later.
She is very much a Lady Merlin, even kind of in personality, which is great.
But yeah, so she's coming to Arcade, and it's a interesting prospect, but I do want to say we did eventually get some stuff. Da Vinci did come out, not as a welfare, but as a full-blown limited SSR who had a much more improved and diversified kit.
I wouldn't know if I call it diversified. Like, the only thing they really...
No, they gave her more buffs and they tuned up some of her stuff. Like, they switched one of her skills to be, like, a passive. They gave her a different skill, right? Like, they gave her some additional focus. In Arcade, it seems like she was kind of just a generic buster sweeper, welfare.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, they changed her third skill into a passive, which was Overhaul, which gave, like, some buffs. They turned it into a debuff, resistance path, and crit generation path. And then they gave her something that I think gives, like, MP charge and MP gain. They gave her a much more robust support kit and looping potential with her NP.
And they improved her NP was very generic in Arcade. Yeah. It was just Buster and increase NP damage for that turn. Now it's it improves her arts performance, which improves not just her NP but follow-up stuff, and gives team NP gauge, so it's got some extra effects. And we did that. I don't know if it was, art-wise, I'm pretty sure it wasn't, but at the very least, in terms of FGO, Skahawk's bunny costume first appeared in Arcade, and we eventually got that ported over here in an appropriate event.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm reasonably certain that this is not a full-blown Arcade exclusive. No, we've gotten a slew of costumes and stuff, so I don't know if they're gonna port Holiday Helena, whether that will stay exclusive to Arcade, or they'll give Helena a main variant, or even do like a costume, maybe? I don't know. I don't actually know how distinct her the Helena Christmas is. I don't know how distinct she is mechanically. Well, but obviously they could change it.
Yeah. It's like the nice thing about bringing things over is, as they did with Da Vinci, they don't have to stay one for one. Like, they could just make her a costume, or they could actually like make a small event around her, or they might make her just an SR you can pull in whatever Christmas event they have coming out next. I don't know if they actually did this every year, but Saber Astolfo was not the year-end servant, but was actually tied to the Christmas events.
Well, yeah, Christmas usually has a new SSR.
Yeah, so who knows? Maybe they'll go something wild and they'll add a new SR, or shoot, maybe they'll make Helena an SSR.
Actually, yeah, they did. I believe that was Christmas 1, because I believe that was Rhyme? Was Rhyme on that banner? Jack was the original SSR on Christmas, and she was only like a timed limited. Yeah. Much like how they did Tamo on Halloween that year. Mm-hmm. I don't remember. Was Rhyme Halloween or was Rhyme Christmas? I think she was Christmas.
I'm not sure.
And then let's see. What did they do down the line? The next year would have been Ishtar. I think that was just Ishtar.
I think so too.
And I think, I don't think the Aresh banner for the next Christmas didn't have anybody new on it, but it did have some 4-stars in the mix.
Yeah.
Rhyme was Christmas, okay. So yeah, so they've done stuff like that in the past, and as we've seen, FGO's not afraid to occasionally go back to the well. Our upcoming Christmas, for instance, will feature a permanent servant once again for a while, in the form of Bradamante. She's technically on the Christmas banner, and will become permanent after that.
Yeah, but in regards to Proto Merlin, I think my biggest concern is not so much of if she's coming, it's when she's coming.
Yeah, when and how she's coming is going to be the big one, because she's the big boy, full-blown SSR in Arcade.
Mm-hmm. I don't see any reason why they change that.
No, they know they have brilliant success with this stuff. I believe Merlin prototype or Merlin trended on Twitter for quite a while.
Oh yeah, no, and as a secondary Proto Gil,
the follow-up. People were going ape shit about Prototype Gil too, because he's been data mined since like day one, along with Perseus.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, there's a lot of shaking and a shimmying about this in general. I'm seriously wondering if they might be gearing up to a prototype collab, like probably next year.
That would make sense. As I said, we are slowly going through our titles. Anniversary and New Year's are also big contenders.
Yep.
And I would not discount Lost Belt 6 either.
Yeah, especially considering they could do something they occasionally do, Musashi, for instance, got a raid-up with Shimosa, which was later the same year from her original New Year's raid-up.
Mm-hmm.
So they could do something and, like, bring back Castor Artoria. That might be a little soon, though, but it's not unheard of. But yeah, no, they could. We don't know what's coming. We don't know when Lost Belt 6 is coming either.
Yeah.
It could be that Lost Belt 6 isn't going to occur until early next year, and then they throw Proto Merlin out in FGO at New Year's or something. Or Christmas, even.
Yeah, but right now, I feel like our strongest is a prototype collab, so we can get maybe another Arthur raid up, maybe a Merlin raid up with Proto Merlin, Ozzy, and various other servants. And honestly, it'd be great.
Perseus finally be a good one.
Yeah.
And you could even talking about like an Arthur raid, if they can even do what they've done with some collabs and do a pre-event and be like, okay, here's your pre-banner, Oz, Arthur, all the guys we already have, and then new event, boom, new guys.
Mm-hmm. I would not. I'm pretty sure people would not be too opposed to an SR Proto Gil.
No, probably not. If that fits. I mean, yeah, no, probably that could work. Like some people will probably be like curious if that works out with the power levels, but Casgil's already a 4-star. Proto Gil is weird, and we don't know a lot about him. His main thing is that he's much more of an archer than Gil is. He does still have like magic portals that shoot swords, but also he actually has a bow. And his NP is firing an arrow that causes the flood. That flood. However, that's not rending time and space and whatever either, so we really don't need another super strong, really big boy SSR archer for sure. We've got a lot of those. Though if he was like arts archer, maybe could use some of those. But yeah, no, he might be more diverse in. Well, that's the whole thing, right? Talking about diversity, Proto Gil might be much more diverse as an SR. Because that's the other thing I wanted to talk about is not just when she'll show up, but how. Because we talked about they could change her mechanics, but that would be as she appears in Arcade. Prototype Merlin Proto. A lot of people are just calling it Madi, like Magi Madi, because Girlin. I will also, by the way, accept Girlin. But her setup and kit is very interesting. It's quite similar to regular Merlin, but also not. Though I will point out that at least in Arcade, she's got a quick arts buster deck.
Yeah, she smack a little.
Yeah, so she's got an opportunity to hit people with stuff. Yeah, she basically has in Arcade, she has a weaker version of Merlin's Dreamlight Charisma. So the attack percentage is lower, but it still keeps the 20% NP charge. She has a weaker version of Hero Creation. I don't know the exact percentages, but the rating is lower. And then she has a third skill, the translated name of which this, by the way, terrifies me. It's called Succubus Ridge. Also, FGO Arcade, Succubus ends in an S. It should not be apostrophe S. It should just be apostrophe. Okay, thanks. We gotta get our grammar jokes in somewhere, Lucky. But
I'm not
this appears to be her big boy EX skill. It gives the party invincibility. It reduces all enemies charged by 1, and then charges her own NP gauge based on how many charges you remove from the enemy.
Yeah, she gave them the suck.
Correct. So it's kind of like Merlin's illusion, but instead of reducing their crit chance, it reduces their NP gauge and gives her self charge.
Do you know what Hope of Avalon is?
Yeah, I got it pulled up because I got the thing open. You linked it earlier. So, now keep in mind, some of this is a guesstimation based on stuff, and this is based on things. But again, this is why it's very interesting, her setup. Hope of Avalon the Forever Unsealed Utopia is her NP. It increases party's max HP for 30 seconds, I believe, which for some reason is written on the wiki as 3 turns. It increases party's NP generation, so it increases their NP gen, not their raw battery, for 3 turns, aka 30 seconds. And then does what in Arcade is called reduces mana recovery time by 30 seconds. So basically, it reduces your skill cooldown. So, again, people talking about, Tamamo on life support. This is just Eightfold Blessings, but different.
Yeah.
Which makes me very curious / concerned about if they'll literally do this. Because obviously the skills don't directly translate because they work in slightly different mechanics, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the max HP is better than heal, right? And it apparently goes up. It's NP level based, so it starts at 3k in Arcade and goes to 5k at NP5, which would be pretty ballers.
Mm-hmm.
But NP rate gain is worse than just gaining battery, which is what Eightfold does. So that's interesting. And then if that turns into a straight reduced skill cooldown by 1, that's really chipping into Tamamo's niche. Though obviously Tamamo is still a permanent caster, and there's, no way that Mari is not limited. That would be ludicrous if regular Merlin was limited and she wasn't. That would be crazy talk in terms of making money.
Well, no, people talking about Tamamo as dead memes. I brush them to the side because, again, no servant exists in a vacuum.
Well, and we talked about Challenge Quest earlier, right? This year, the exhibition quest, you can't dupe. You cannot double Merlin or double Tamamo. It's not allowed.
Now, and because of how Prototype's Merlin goes out, she actually, I think, synergizes fairly well with Tamamo and actual Merlin.
Well, yeah, so that's the thing. Her... Honestly, I would say that Prototype Merlin is Buster Tamamo.
Yeah.
Because, she has a hard defense, right? She does stall by reducing enemies' charge, but her skills are Charisma and Hero Creation, which is, Hero Creation is the thing that made the Buster crit meta for all those, for like a year anyway, I think.
Yeah.
For a period of time.
And and if you basically are stacking, here's the wild strat I'm seeing to do right now. If you start stacking Hero Creations in hopes of Avalon and stuff, you might get some big stonking HP numbers.
Yeah. Let me actually pull up Hero Creation. I don't think we know what B level does stat wise. Yeah. But Merlin has Hero Creation EX. His max HP goes from 2k to 3k. Prototype Merlin's is only B rank, so that probably is 1k to 2k. Mm-hmm. But still, if that skill is maxed and you've got her NP1, that means the targeted servant gets 5k HP for 3 turns.
Mm-hmm. Combine that with Proto Merlin's own school cooldown effect and abilities to increase MP gen for a bit to maybe to get herself to loop a bit more and keep that skill cooldowns going. You might be able to actually get a couple stacks of HP up and have big stonking gains for a bit.
Yeah, I will say the weird thing is probably just the way that at least the arcade version of Succubus Ridge is built, is it gives you 1 hit of invincibility, but also reduces all enemies' NP charge. Mm-hmm. So it gives you a hard defense, but then unless that effect misses somehow, they won't ever pop their NP that turn. So that's kind of weird timing wise. Yeah.
Well, like I said, it seems a little experimental, but at the same time, I still think it definitely has its uses. It has its uses.
Well, yeah, and here's the weird thing. This means that for one of the few times ever, they can much like with Da Vinci, they can basically beta test this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, arcade is cool. It probably makes money. It's probably going to make more money now because, I think we were talking about this with the community because obviously our community was exploding about this. Well, canonically, I believe at least in the notes it says she has mixed blood. Hers is only 2.5% per turn. Though it's per 10 seconds, so I don't know. It's weird. Again, because arcade is almost more of an action RPG version of FGO. Still want that console port, please. You're owned by Sony. Sony overlords. Do you hear me? Put that shit on PS5. Thank you. I did actually look up at the sky and yell, which is weird because it's thundering right now. Anyway,
thunderbolts and lightning.
Nope, we cannot derail the show to sing Bohemian Rhapsody. We will be here too long. Anyway, where was I? passives and talking about beta testing, right? Mm-hmm. They basically get to pre-test Merlin and then see how that works, and they can actually, when they eventually import her into main, they can just fix the shit that doesn't work and change stuff that was too good. Mm-hmm. But I was talking about how our community was exploding. That's right. Because we had a little back and forth about the timing, and so with some other people too. And I was like, I'm going to theorize that FGO Arcade probably did not make as much money as they had been during the Backstreet Boys reunion tour. But Japan is tentatively opened, so now they've done a big release and a big pull to get people back in arcades to spend arcade money.
Yes.
And they have spent a boodle of arcade money, I believe. People have been... It's just like with trading card games. People have been hunting those rare foils of Merlin out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, I will say, Architect, that's right. They can't monetize it the exact same way, but they can still monetize it, kind of. Because what you'd do is you'd make them pay $60 or $70 for the base version, and then you just put microtransactions just like the regular-ass game to buy quartz. But anyway, I don't want to say one for one it would work, but I would definitely not mind a home port with some stuff, just as a fun play around, fuck around mode. Because God forbid it will never show up in arcades here, and even if it does, I don't live near any arcades.
Heck. Now, so again, talking about slotting in your Proto Merlin, if you want to work on some Buster memes, just slide in with your own Merlin. If you want to work on some art memes, she still slots in pretty well with Tamamo. Yeah,
the beauty of Dreamlight Charisma is that's much like with Merlin himself, that's just raw NP charge and raw attack. Like, the only thing about her that's specifically Buster-focused is hero creation, because that improves Buster cards, but everybody's got at least one Buster card, including herself, so you can make it work, and arts critical teams are a very interesting one. I would actually say what it looks like Prototype Merlin works best with is those Buster Arts hybrid units, right?
So I think same thing. I think Shiba, isn't it?
Shiba has 2 arts and 2 Buster cards and buffs both.
Yeah.
And Shiba doesn't have any hard defenses. Trust me, I know. So that could work out.
Probably means she feels
Tomoe. I believe both versions of Tomoe are half arts, half Buster. Semiramis has a Buster NP, but Semiramis has a caster deck. She's been Emmy'd. So I don't know if that counts. Semiramis is a caster pretending to be an assassin in terms of kit build. Caster Shuten, definitely, yes, that's right. Caster Shuten actually has the deck for that, too.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, that's the other freaky thing. I really hope they keep this card set up when they bring her over, because that's alien. There's, I think 3 or 4, if that many casters that are quick arts Buster. I believe... I don't even know, is Scott even one of them? Hold on. Internet, double check. I believe Lady Murasaki's a big one. She's a big one who has 2 quick cards and 2 arts cards, even though she is arts focused. Luckily, the Grand Order Wiki has a lovely feature. Also, by the way, it's thundering super loud outside. No, I way overshot. It's 2. There's 2. It's Hawk Scotty and Murasaki. So that would make Proto Merlin the second, or third rather, caster who doesn't have that setup. There are about 5 who have the Arts Buster deck, the Saber deck, including Caster Nero, who would also probably fit in very well, Shiba, good old Sieg, and your boys Geronimo and Charles Babbage, R.I.P. Actually, there it is, Lucky. This is the Geronimo buff we've all been looking for. It is America. Pair Geronimo with Proto Merlin. But yeah, no, QQAA, which in my mind is the Archer style deck, because that's where a lot of early Archers like Adelante had. Very, very rare for casters, so I hope they port that over. So yeah, that's Proto Merlin. Making a lot of waves. We'll just have to see what they do with the final product, because like I said, I do want to emphasize, while it's not a super big changes, they did change a couple of things that did fine-tune and improve Da Vinci Lily as a unit. So what we see in arcade is not a guarantee of what we will see in the final version, if we do actually see it. I also want to say, that's not guaranteed either, but also, I can't imagine that FGO, with its much broader install base, way more millions of downloads, way better accessibility, no need to worry about the Backstreet Boys reunion tour shutting it down. They will eventually bring her over, because that's just leaving money on the table, and they love money.
Money is
I've seen some people talk about how FGO is scummy. I don't think it is. I think they just like money as much as anybody. like, this isn't a Scumlord move. This is probably a, like, marketing strategy move. Anyway, by the way, our live chat, you should support us at the 10 or up level on Patreon. Well, actually, you can see the chat if you're just a Patreon, but it wouldn't make any sense. Our patrons listening live are going apeshit with Backstreet Boys gifs.
It's great. I love it.
Every time we mention it. What's up?
All right. Boom. Thumbnail.
There it is. Somebody posted a gif at the exact same time you said that, and I was like, what? You got a very good picture balance on that. All right.
Yeah, I told you. The Skahoxy is just tilted at just the right angle.
It is perfectly tilted. You already know what's happening. You've been watching the thumbnail for like 30 minutes. maybe not quite that long, because there might be a little bit of dead air in there. But yeah, no, you already know, audience. But yes, I am. No, that is perfectly tilted. Okay, I'm gonna save this so we can work on it later. I'll hide a couple of hot dogs in it, like always. I got at least a couple of comments about, I think it was the very first one in the Gilfest pregame of El Meloy Caneth holding a hot dog instead of volume. Several people appreciated that one, yes. So I'll sneak some other stuff in. I wonder if Arcade has a banner image for Proto Merlin. If they do, I'll probably sneak that one in. Do we have any other further thoughts about Magimari here?
No. Like, again, like, I'm excited about her skills. I said, a skill calling herself a succubus sparks great joy in me.
Oh yeah, no, that's canon, by the way. Still makes blood. Still has her adorable pink elf ears. What was it? It was on the Palladian per day, but Tank went apeshit talking about all her charm points.
Yes. I did watch her interesting. She called herself a pretty big sister, and I was like, oh no, she's the exact same.
Correct.
So, like, I'm very interested to see. Like, I hope she comes in a big event so we can have a lot of characterization, because I want to see how they do Merlin different, but the same.
Yeah. So the other big thing, you mentioned this in your intro, is about Arcade. So this was another thing. It was subtle, and this we're going to have to do some of the good old internet level fact-checking on. SITA appears in Arcade. However, SITA is not summonable in Arcade, okay? This is why this didn't blow up sooner and you may have missed it. It took people a while to catch on. She appears as a story support only, as an AI character in some maps, which makes sense because it is America. They are doing the America release.
Yes.
So she appears as an archer, exactly as you'd expect, voiced by... Oh, God, names. This is going to plague me. It's the same as Rama's VA, who's Mordred and Nightingale and stuff. I just, for some reason, literally can't right now.
I had it. Yeah, Miyuki Sawashiro.
Yeah, Sawashiro-san. Miyuki. So, again, obviously, because Rama and SITA are also kind of the same person, but also eternally separate. Oh, by the way, there were many, many horrible Curse of Separation jokes, yes, because Rama is not summonable in Arcade yet.
I don't know. I think my favorite one, like I just saw it, is it showed a picture of Master holding up Rama on his phone to SITA on a TV. I was like, oh no, that's precious. My heart.
Yeah, it's pretty adorable.
It is pretty adorable.
But yeah, so like I said, this is not like not quite like the full blown Proto Merlin thing. Like, this isn't, Arcade cheated out 2 new servants. No, they just, and honestly, this is kind of the advantage of the fact that Arcade is even further back in the timeline than we are in NA. Like, they're way back and only just hitting America now, which means they can do some things differently. Like, I wouldn't be shocked that if they had the chance to do it over again, they wouldn't have put in a couple of, story quests with SITA, right? Like, as a support, because they do that sometimes. It's just all about resources.
Actually, I'm a little curious if, because in America is the chapter where at the end, Merlin shows up in a fucking fog and be all like, what's going on? I'm mysterious. I'm out. I would laugh so hard if in the FGO Arcade version, they replaced that with Proto Merlin.
Yeah, I don't know how we've had this conversation. I don't know how the story is necessarily set up or if people have gotten there already.
I knew they do story, but as I said, America was the first instance of Merlin showing up, so I do find the timing of this a little interesting.
Yeah, so it's, again, like you said, it's an interesting time, an interesting feeling going on. We'll have to see kind of how that pans out. But obviously, if she's got a playable model and stuff, that means that I'm sure they will eventually bring SITA to arcade. But
that means she has a model, she has voice line, she has attack, she probably, I don't know, can supports fire off their NP?
Depends on the unit. They might not, or they might. That means she probably almost assuredly has some of her skills programmed in.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know about the arcade mechanics, but generally in FGO story, it depends. Some characters will use their NP, some will not. So I don't know if story-wise they've done it, because they could just as easily keep it out if it's not in yet. But yeah, I'm sure that means that eventually SITA will come to arcade, because again, you don't do all the work. That's like programming number one. You don't do work you're not going to use. Mm-hmm. Conversely, again, they've done the whole thing with Proto Merlin and everything. I feel no reason why they wouldn't reuse that. And who knows, if they build an association between those two characters, that could give them an easier reason to also slot in SITA somewhere. Or they could just as easily toss her in on like a New Year's or some other special celebration. A 4-star on Valentine's, they're going... FGO's gotten a lot better at playing faster and looser with including SRs, both permanent and limited, in new banners, right?
Yeah.
Like talking about SRs and collabs, this year the Requiem collab also featured Kyokoyo, Dino Wife, as just a special addition to the 4-star squad. There could be some other like things at similar times they do at different stuff. It's just, keep an open mind. But yeah, again, because she's not summonable, I don't know if we've got any hard and fast details, because I'm pretty sure you can't data mine an arcade machine, nor is it easy to get footage directly from it. Like they are, as far as I know, they're full-blown cabinets that are like pre-built, so it's not like you can just run a capture card in there. Obviously, they have their own way to capture the footage for purposes of promos and stuff, but I don't know how much are there arcade YouTubers making videos with arcade machines? Do they own those machines? How are they getting that video? I'd like to know. But I don't see a lot of demonstration videos of arcade servants that are not promo reel. I don't know. If anybody's got some footage of SITA, I wouldn't mind seeing it just to see what we're in for. But I'm assuming that's more difficult on account of being an arcade machine. And if it's not an arcade machine, then why the fuck don't I have it already? That's just a little, that's like one of our great localized moments of just and if you've already got it running on something else that's not specialist, I'm sure it's just, the arcade machines are probably just PCs or whatever, at this point. But I don't know. That's a Japanese, I don't think I'm gonna figure out how they get their capture from a Japanese YouTube. What do I look like? Some kind of bilingual? I should probably go back to working on my Japanese at some point when I have time for that. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, no.
I don't have time. It does look like they got some stuff though. I'll be sure to check out those links later, maybe. And like I said, who knows? It might be entirely possible, depending. I don't know what the culture and setup is like in Japan. It might be entirely possible that these people have an ins with arcade owners or own an arcade and have a way to capture them. Or who knows? Maybe I've never heard it brought up, but maybe it's got a video export feature? Can you, plug your phone in and record some of the video? Anyways, I think that's probably all we're gonna milk on the subject of arcade.
Yeah, probably.
For now. Hey, guess what? While, admittedly, this did take us about 40 minutes of raw audio time, that's still basically all the news we have this week. Let me check how many days are left in the Skahakfest situation. The Skafez. They got about a week left. Skafez, the source of many memes. Apparently, as the master unit, you can bully other master units in the TAC map mode, the story chapters, which is the source of many memes. Like I said, can't wait to see this event when we get there, but that's all we got. We got about 4 days left in Gilfest. Actually, shoot. Let me double check this time, because we had this question last time. What the fuck the order of events is? Is it going to be interludes then?
No, I think it's rerun then interlude.
Okay. October. Oops, went the wrong way. September, Battle in New York. Yeah, okay. So it should be immediately after, unless they decide to give us a break week that way. It should immediately go into the Himeji Castle rerun. Okay. All right. Well, let's take a quick intermission, and then we'll dive into some mailbag for about an hour, because there are some free discussions and some Teach Me Omega-sensei at the end, so we cannot do the full mailbag like we did last week.
Nope.
We're back. Go for it. We're back from the thing.
In the space.
Futzing around with stuff, but we're gonna do mailbag, so take it away, Sleep Lucky.
Alright, this is Sleep Lucky, here to give you an hour of Let's Talk FGO Mailbag for September 25th, 2020. Looks like we got 27 entries, and unfortunately, as we said earlier, we got a big old subject happening later here, so we're only going to be singing ourselves to an hour.
And we always say we'll do more than we'll do, but then we don't, so I make no promises. I promise nothing.
If we tangent too long on something or go off topic, I will pause the timer so we can get a little bit more. But as I said, we're gonna see. We're gonna do goo. We're gonna do goo, you. So it starts now. And our first one comes from patiently waiting police Tomo figure in the mail. And they say, "Hi guys. So since I asked 2 questions on my first ask, now I'll do 1. That's normal."
Correct.
Alrighty, so, which servant would you like to go to the movies with? Keep up the great and funny work, guys. May the wiggle be with you in your future roles. Can Patreon chat please give me some wiggle?
Wriggle, wriggle, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Now, okay, again, Lucky is basic. He would just take his number 1 waifu, takes Tamamo. Simple.
That's a pretty good pick. Unfortunately, a lot of my favorite servants would not go to the movie theater, so I'll go with Medusa, who is very high in my rankings, but not the top. But others, I don't know.
It is canonically established that Medusa is a book nerd. I feel like she could enjoy some movies.
Medusa, I at least could trust to be reserved, but not freak out. Like I'm not like I would not want to take. Well, I wouldn't want to take anybody to a movie theater right now, but I wouldn't necessarily want to take like a Resh or Ishtar to a movie theater, because Ishtar would be like, "Why are people watching this movie and not me?" And Resh would just be like, "Ah, wah, 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 wah," and it'd be like, "This doesn't work. This isn't a great plan." I gotta be honest. I don't think I can trust Mordred to not talk in the movie theater. Like not also, even just like yelling or screaming or crying, but like full blown not just start yelling shit at the screen.
I said Resh would work if your goal is to bully a Resh with adorableness. Like he would do it. It's like, how red can I make my Resh? Yes, good. Someone has mentioned Raiko in the chat, and I would say, yeah, sure, as long as your movie is righteous and wholesome.
Yeah, otherwise, no, if you that's a we're only gonna see G-rated movies.
But anyway, let's not take too long. So thank you, patiently waiting, Police Tamamo figure in the mail. We move on to Man on the Hunk for Angra Spooks to Burn. That's a story. And they say, question. Hey guys, just a quick question. How would you feel about FGO adding a type edition CE? For example, the dragon effect George gives to an enemy, but the CE gives the unit the dragon trait, so Jalter can buff herself twice, and to balance, it only boosts health when leveling and adds more damage trait. Add more damage trait for balance. I feel it would spice up the games. Your thoughts? Thanks again. So, I'm for this. I think it'd be interesting.
Yeah, that sounds like an interesting one. Yeah, sure. Just like making it minimal core stat stuff, and just the only effect is that would probably
you are now Roman.
Like a 3-star. Like apply special trait Roman to self. There's all kinds of things which can do that kind of stuff, and there are buffs which do it, so it would work out.
Yeah, no. Again, this also does mean though you will be taking up a CE slot, and I don't know if you necessarily would want to do that for a servant.
Yeah, it would diversify some interesting comps, right? We've talked about this with units a lot. When they have a trait slice, whether that's a positive trait they buff a unit type, or it's a negative trait, or at least a trait they use to exploit for damage. Though, funnily enough, some of those can be the same thing, as we saw with Summer Bryn, who turned her trait damage into a trait buff. But that really helps define how useful and effective a unit is. Like, Scheherazad's actually quite useful because there's a lot of fucking kings. Similarly, there's a lot of divine, so anybody who's anti-divine is really good. But there are some units which buff divine, like Steno. So I could certainly see that working, and I wouldn't mind them trying more shit like this. Like, trait effect, geo effect, and stuff. But
I don't know. I think
you'd have to be.
Personally, I wouldn't mind seeing this on a command code. Basically, you use a card and you count for like the next turn as that type.
Yeah, apply trait, dragon self for 1 turn when using this command card. That could be a good one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Command codes are also another fun way to spice things up. I would say if it was a CE, I'd want to make sure that it actually either was a high enough rarity that it applied some good buffs to like attack or HP, or actually had like an extra effect other times. Like, not a big effect, but just like, and like increased your, because remember, it's got to have an MLB effect too. So like something like, and raise your defense like 5 to 10% or something. I don't know what the scales are. Just something to make it worth it. But it could be a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So thank you, Man on the Hunt, for Angry Spooks to burn. The next one comes from Kaleon King, who says, "Don't have the energy to consider a question this week. Just wanted to vent about how much effort I rolled for shooting in vain, but somehow got 2 Gilgameshes so easily in comparison. I even double pulled a Raikou just after telling Lucky how Nightingale spooked me after his stream ended. At least there is her welfare, but I wished her 5-star was on the initial Only Land banner. But beyond that, I hope your lottery boxes are both bountiful and beneficial. P.S. I may now leave on the King alias for messages and the God alias for questions."
Neat.
Well, no, yeah, that is the big rip of, like, again, like, I was rolling for CEs, and I had to drop a cash on it, and I'm looking at my new shiny level 1 Gilgamesh Archer, I'm like, I don't want this, though.
Yes, a lot of people seem to do some pretty good action on the Gil, and not, in an unusual way, and I've seen definitely some people with some interesting responses to the Shuten banner, or Shuten Raikou, however you want to talk about it. It's weird in the States because it's to commemorate Shuten's rank up or whatever. But anyway, yeah, no, that's the big rip. Shuten will be back on the second version of the banner, though obviously for me that's a no fly because that's right next to Saber Wars 2 with Space Ishtar.
Spice.
But I feel like Shuten is one of those signature Japanese servants who gets hit up a lot. Kind of like how Gil has raid-ups all the time. Actually, she just had an interlude. Is she on that banner? Internet, I'm gonna fact check. I don't know if this is a tangent.
It's tangent. I'm pausing timer.
Okay,
Yeah.
he says it's a tangent. No, is there not a banner for that? Hold on, I'm cross-referencing my sources. Doing science. Activating notes. Yes, interlude campaign 14 summoning. Shuten is on that, yeah. She's the only 5-star in that, so you can't be spooked on that one. Yeah, okay, so that was my my info.
Alright, that's the info. We are restarting timer.
Excellent. You immediately defied that joke in chat. But yeah, that's the big rip. I hope you have luck on your boxes too. I love skill cookies.
Mm-hmm. They are delicious. But
everybody remember not to sleep on Oniland.
No. Thank you, Kilian King. We now move on to Fluffal Sheep, the strong as a sheep. Powerful sheep. Who says, actually, they didn't add powerful sheep. I was just looking adding on to things. But they say, no question this time. Just hope you guys are well and okay. Keep on doing you. P.S. I look forward to the tilting card game Strings Omega. Hey, you got a fan.
Yeah, this whole thing is just a deep shot at me. Talk about Fluffal Sheep. I don't know if Lucky was there for the great fluffaling, but that's a card game stream joke. You should watch my card game streams, which are fairly regular. Though this week we did do an Uno dog game with several people. In the last hour, it boiled down to us just yelling about our future L5R campaign because, God, the dark game. The darkness, it overtook us. But yeah, no, hey, shout out to you.
Shout out to you. So thank you, Fluffal Sheep, the strongest of sheep. We move on to Dragalia Emblem, who says, can't think of anything to ask this week. Thanks to being in bad writer's block for a week now. As such, all I can do is add to this is a hi. Well, hi to you, Dragalia Emblem, and keep pushing. The only thing you can really do about a writer's block is either keep pushing or try to distract yourself until it goes away.
Yep. Okay.
But believe in you! Smoke bomb! So thank you, Dragalia Emblem. We move into... I wanted to give Lucky a tongue twister for an alias, but I feel like I shouldn't. No, you totally should. If you put it in this box, I will read it. But they say, hey guys, so ever since the Ascuri was revealed in JP, I instantly loved them, and they are my number one target for 22. aiming minimum for MP3. So my question is, what do you think of them? And the potential in terms of lore, or if they're in an actually Holy Grail war? In gameplay, we all know their crit and MP spam is bonkers.
Well, doing a lore deep dive is not necessarily the normal move for Mailbag, so I don't think we should get too crazy. I like them; they're interesting. Like at first, I thought it was a little weird considering that God, names, brain. My brain cannot names right now. This is gonna come up all night tonight.
Right name.
Pollux? Or is Pollux the boy? No, I think Pollux is the girl. The sister, was described at several points by characters as being really good at pugilism, but she's the saber in the situation? So I always thought that was a little weird, but, I do actually think kind of the background is really interesting with kind of like talking about, human perception, degradation of mystery and all that stuff. We've had a lot of conversations about how servants can be more than they should be or be less than they should be because of certain things, both in terms of rarity and other stuff. But the reason why, okay, so Pollux is the girl. The reason why Pollux is the saber and Castor is the Avenger is actually really, really interesting with the way that works out in their commonly told legends and stuff. It's super interesting, and also they're very funny because the whole 2-in-1 thing's pretty cool. Lucky, thoughts?
I don't know. When I get to Lost Belt, will they show up in, 5.2? Yeah. I will.
There's not one 5.2. I don't know if they appear earlier. We'll have to see.
We'll have to see. But, actually, I think they might have shown up in 5.1. I don't know. Let's see, here's the thing. Lucky doesn't know. I don't, unless I'm doing research, I don't go out my way looking for lore and spoilers.
I'm pretty sure they probably weren't fightable in the first part. Probably, because I don't remember people yelling about it, but also I don't actually know, so.
Again, but Lucky does have this bad habit of finally getting to a servant and going, oh no, I love him.
Yeah, the version of oh no, he's hot.
Yes. Constantly. And again, Lucky also might have a bit of a boner for evil/tragic characters, which some people are saying is kind of their deal. So who knows? I'm excited to see it. Like I said, but I'll get there when I get there.
We'll all get there in a year because it's not soon, but at a time period in the future. Anyway, yes, Dioscuri.
So thank you. I wanted to give Lucky a tongue twister for an alias, but I feel like I shouldn't. But I actually should. This next one comes from Mothra, searching the cosmos for its brethren, who says, "Topical D&D adjacent question in light of the arcade news. What fictional race would you be interested in seeing as one of the Summel servants in some form that had already made a debut in FGO? Doesn't have to be a literal 1-to-1. A Vikibron essentially becomes a Kasatha, for a familiar term. Not familiar.
No, I don't understand that term at all.
And his third ascension and on. Why
would you assume that's familiar?
Many thanks for your content. May you both find well-rested, hale, and hearty." Hang on, I gotta pause the timer, because now I gotta fucking Google.
Yeah, you Google that. Also, Lucky, you should refresh the page. I was pre-reading. There is a question here. It had a literal spoiler in it, and I threw it away.
Oh, okay.
I yeeted it. You should refresh the page so you don't accidentally read it.
Alright.
Apologies to you, sir. You should know who you were, but don't do that. No, that's against the rules.
I actually probably put... I should actually probably put that in the rules.
Maybe, but that's against our general channel rules. And yes, maybe in future make sure to put that in the actual Mailbag guidelines, because they're not rules; they're more like guidelines. But no, seriously, don't do that. But yeah, so
okay,
you
yeah,
are
refreshing.
Googling...
refreshing. Okay, there it is. Let's see, Kasatha.
Second result, Kasatha's Pathfinder. Oh, yeah. Why the fuck would you think this is a familiar term? This is in Starfinder or something. Have I ever mentioned that I play that ever? Boom. Nuked.
Yeah, no, like, how is this a Vikibron? These are literally 4-armed space gun shooters.
Yeah, they're 4-armed space aliens. I'm fairly certain there are more common 4-armed races in D&D.
Probably. Like I said,
anyway,
like...
Yeah, weird. I would say, yeah, no, that seems like a very big leading question, sir. Are we back on timer?
Yes, now we are back on timer.
Okay, on timer for leading, that's a yellow flag, 5-yard penalty, leading question, Your Honor. I mixed like 2 or 3 metaphors in there. But in terms of like interesting races, I wouldn't mind seeing some actual elves or fairies. There's a shitload of them in Legends, and they should be recordable, because we've got a lot of other weird shit in there.
Again, I immediately give side-eye to the next Lost Belt.
Yeah, we got a lot of weird shit in the universe, which is theoretically recorded already, so I would love to see some action on some elves or fae, just because that's my wheelhouse. Omega is that guy who won't say unseelie 3 times in a row. Just in case something happens.
Let's see here. If we're talking mystical races, listen, Lucky always has a thing for monster girls, like always. So, yeah, some of those, ancient races,
I know a lot, it's not necessarily a specific race, but I do know a lot of people are hearkening for some Lucifer, getting the old Great Satan down in here.
Yeah,
and
actually,
I don't know if that works, but it would probably be cool. Also, Lucifer might have tits, so it could be great.
Yeah. No, if we're going that right, I would definitely like to see Lilith and a bunch of Lilim, aka Succubi. That'd be a race.
Lilith could also probably be legit, because she's supposed to have been a human first, and then became the demon. That could be fun.
Yeah, again, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know much about, like, goblins or other weird stuff, but, somebody posted a Greblu versus GIF. It's Belial for the brand new DLC I think they popped off, which I believe got several people interested in, like, man, he's so cool. Do I want to buy this game?
He's also so crazy.
Anyway, another thing is we've, like, elementals. I know elemental is a very broad term. We've talked about it before in Nasu, which includes vampires for some ungodly reason. Nasu, what are you doing here? You're crossing the streams, Nasu. Quit it. Don't do that. But, like, traditional classical elemental spirits or stuff like that could be very interesting to see, you know. And there are a lot of legends. I think, did the story Undyne inspire? I think that inspired Anderson about Little Mermaid, right? I believe that came first. I think so. Yeah. Undyne or Undine being a classical name for a water elemental. There's a lot of other stuff like that. I wouldn't mind seeing some stuff like that. Technically, we've gotten a little bit of the Jinn action. Sheba is half Jinn, and we've seen the enemies.
I've always considered the fire little girl kind of an elemental thing.
Yeah, that's at the very least an actually it's literally an Efrita, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. That's another thing. That's you know, the kind of that cross section. Jinn are sometimes associated with elementals. So seeing a Jinny. Also, like, literal constructs or robots, where's Pygmalion and Galatea? Galatea would almost assuredly be some kind of super robot meter maid waifu because of human perception.
Great.
Like, in the actual myth, like, it's literally Aphrodite is just like, hey, Pygmalion, you're pretty cool. And also, you hate those dumb whores who don't like me. I'll turn your perfect statue into a lady. But the good old the modern interpretations of that usually get a little more weird. So, like, Galatea is probably one of the number one names for a robot girl. All right, I think we've probably waggled to that one a lot.
So, too long didn't ring. We're both kind of horny on monster girls. Moving on. Let's see here. So, shit, this kind of refreshing kind of screwed up my. Let me see here. Did that one. Here we go. So this next one, for me, comes from... Oh, wait, hang on. I'm dumb. Wait. Oh, here it is. So thank you, Mothra, searching for the cosmos for his brethren. You still get that yellow card, though. This next one comes... Yep. This next... Oh, man. Carbonation and energy drinks is wild. So this next one comes from a hunter waiting to use Melt and Patch Lips Dual MP. Virgin Laser Palladian.
Never gonna happen, by the way.
I wish. I would... Yes, let us have combination attacks with MPs. That'd be awesome. Anyway, so the topic of this question centralized around the idea... Oh, I was literally thinking about this.
Okay, interesting.
So the topic of this question centralizes around the idea of dual MPs being put into the FGO. Since it'd be cool to have two units be able to combine their MP together for devastating effects if you have both of them. But according to some people, apparently it's against the law of God to have contents based off of having two individual things you may have paid for. And on initially hearing this, I would call BS on that statement, since the statements like, it's illegal for them to nerf units, was also a load of shit. So, just going to ask, do you feel that it could be true and that it should be the case? Not napping as it is. I don't want you to bother you searching for an obvious answer. Just want an opinion. Thanks, and hope your day goes well. Well, I do appreciate that you clarified that you just want our opinions.
I mean, I can first off and say I have heard, because this is a very popular, and actually, heck, this probably was what brought it up. That's a very popular series of like YouTube clips of editing together combo NPs. But so I want to say about the law thing. What is a quote-unquote illegal or in a law is not necessarily always how it works, because this would almost assuredly be a civil case. However, there have been some very ludicrous civil cases about gacha in Japan. This is why, for instance, if a unit says it is not coming back to story pulls ever, like if it says they're a limited unit and they will not appear later, they can never, because apparently some previous gachas did not clarify whether their units were limited or not. Ooh, that's a big thunder. And they have gotten sued over for it, and the complaint has won. So I assume that based on wording or legal precedent, this has actually probably already happened, which is why people think of it. I also don't know what your context is for it's illegal to nerf units being a load of shit. I haven't ever heard that, but also I don't think there's ever been a context where they have actually nerfed a unit.
I think there has been some context that if you nerf a unit, you are technically devaluing it.
Yes, but I believe that would be I'm going to say that's probably a legal risk, but I don't feel like there's actually this is the thing I'm saying. I don't know if there's actually a case precedent for that being legal precedent. So,
also,
anyway.
And your first part apparently is against the law for gacha to have content-based tapping to individual things you may have paid for. I think that's a little shaky ground, personally. Again, I don't know the law. I don't know the case. I'm not going to do a fact check on it. But gacha, like FGO and games gacha are inherently already based of people may not have things that other people have paid for.
Well, yeah, I think the thing is the trying to incentivize a mechanical benefit to two things that are separately not guaranteed may be the precedent. That's the way I've heard it, is it was pitched as like, okay, so in order to use Virgin Later Palladian, for instance, you would need to acquire both the limited melt and then the separate limited Passion Lip, and then together these two limited units, which you probably are incentivized to spend money on, are like even betterer.
Yeah,
specifically with each other, but again, like we said, we don't actually know the precedent.
And I would just say all you have to do is literally you just have to give the same effect to a bunch of free units.
Well, no, that doesn't actually work in terms of if just saying, oh, but we did it for free stuff too. That doesn't get you out of the loop that you did it for paid stuff. Necessarily, legal precedent is weird.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you do not make it something that is exclusive to paid units, people cannot make the band that they are trying to do it only to incentivize. Yes,
it is true. That would certainly the thing that is critical here, and that's probably where we should stop tangenting about the legal part of this and go back to our opinions on double NPs. The thing that is critical is how pissed off somebody would be. Would they be pissed off enough to sue, and what their legal standing is? And I feel like honestly, FGO and a lot of other big gacha games already kind of know where some of the danger zones lie, so they may actually play it safer and not do anything which could be controversial enough to generate a suit, because that would be very bad.
But I would say I would love actual double MPs. I think that'd be baller. Give me a combo MP with like Ushi and Benkei. Give me like double MPs with Golden and Raiko. Give me like double MPs with like maybe Blackbeard and Drake. There's the sky's the limit on that. But again, because I will say, even though I don't necessarily think it would be illegal and I found the same ring, it would still be very fucking weird because just of how limited units and free units work. Because I would expect that if you were to do a dual MP system, there would be some units who would be like 1-star rarities, and then others who'd be 5-star rarities, and you just be like, but why would I put them together? Like, it's a whole other thing on like mechanical balance,
right? Yeah, I would also say I don't know what the FGO engine is like, because I don't even know how you'd trigger, because there's already an NP chain effect. Do you because there's while there are a lot of interesting cuts of this, there are some things that make sense, like Virgin Laser Palladion is literally a combo attack that Melt and Lip do. In case you don't remember what that is, that's where lip throws melt.
Oh, I guess it'd be like if you chain it up instead of like, and then if you chain up them together instead of them like doing their NP separately, they would do it together for increased effect. I would guess,
or not even increased effect, because that is again talking about the thing like Perseus just said in our chat. Would it be fine if the double NP was purely aesthetic? Almost assuredly, that would be just work. But if you could, and again, God knows if FGO's tiny Unity brain could handle this, but if you could just apply all the effects of the NP at once in sequence as they would have happened anyway, right? Like there are some mechanical weirdnesses that could get in there, but you'd have to be very picky with how you did it. But you'd have to be very picky about how you did it anyway. You know?
But again, so I will agree with that. If this was just purely aesthetics, yeah, no, fucking go for it. It's cosmetics.
In terms of making it interact mechanically, yeah, I don't know. That would be cool, but also that's breaking my brain. I'm like, how would FGO do this?
Yeah. But anyway, I want to say I believe that it is enough time on this question. It said it gave me the big brain thoughts, and I find that fun, but we must move on! So thank you, Hunter, wanting to use Melt and Patch Your Lips Dual MP, Virgin Laser Palladium. Next one comes from Newfound Reaper / Rapper Fan, who says, "Hey, Lucky Omega, how's that lotto life? Harsh. Just wanted to send some chill vibes your ways and wish you a happy Ikampokam. That is still my profile pic, though, by the way.
I saw on I don't know if that was going on. I have to pause. If you have anything to say, you should pause it. But on Twitter the other day while I was scrolling, I did see there's apparently a Twitter just called Korone Noses. I did not check it out, but it exists. Anyway,
Lucky would just like to say, Korone Noses do give me life in the best way.
Wow.
Fire! Machine gun!
Have confidence. No confidence. I love that. The fucking comedic timing. And the fact that Korone just goes for it, too.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Thank you, Newfound Reaper / Rapper Fan. We move on to Sencho is Love, Sencho is Life.
Our
question. Yeah?
VTuber joke right now.
Mm-hmm. Question. Ahoy! That's not a question. About 3 weeks ago, I asked about servants as VTubers, and you said it might be something to revisit later. With the release of Hololive EN, I thought I'd ask about it again with a slight spin this time. Which servants would you like to see in a collab stream with VTubers? Like, ergo, Hokusai, and Ina's art stream. Thanks for the great content each week. Hope the lot of grind hasn't burnt you out.
Okay, well, first of all, good on you for remembering how many weeks ago it was, because I'm pretty sure there have been VTuber questions in the past, but knowing when they happened, I don't fucking know. How long has Mailbag been going on? It's either just happened or it's been going on forever. Anyway, well, so the most obvious joke / linkage here is, like you said, bringing up Hokusai and Inanis, Ninamai. Well, guess what? Her papa, her character designer, is also Abigail, Yangufe, and Hokusai's character designer, so, that seems like that would be a pretty easy one to pull off. Also, by the way, a lot of Japanese artists are apparently becoming independent VTubers. We've already talked about, Lucky's already mentioned his love for Pochi.
Yes.
I believe that, Hololive member, Subaru, her mama, her character designer, is also a VTuber, who, funnily enough, sounds a lot like other Hololive member Watame, though I have seen them on the same stream at the same time, so they're not the same person, but it's still funny. But yeah, so, that would be a really easy one. Huke, who drew Altera in FGO. Did they do anybody else? I should open up my artist. I know Lack. Shoot, who did Lack do? Was it Flare? I think Lack did Flare. Lack in Hololive, and Lack is also Izo's character artist. I'll look up if who did anybody else. But so that's my first theory is just like, well, with the case of the character designers, that flows together really well.
But honestly, I would love to see Ina on a stream with Hokusai and Abigail, and she'd probably call them Tentacle Senpai.
Yeah, I'm sure Ina's one brain cell would melt. She'd have a great time.
She'd have a great time. Again, Lucky has not simped, but if he's simped, it'd probably be for Ina. Lucky's been spending money on a bunch of other things.
Okay, yeah, so no. Hook is just the man of the Alteras, drawing all the Alteras, all of them, all the time. All them heroic spirit portraits and all that stuff. And I'm sure more people may know more things for some of the stuff. But I will say, like, a lot of these ideas are fun. I don't know how easy they'd be to pull off because, obviously, yes, VTubers are acted. They have a performer. We've talked about this before. But their performers' identities are not known, generally. That's usually a bad thing.
No.
Servants are known for having VAs who are part of their talent, so I don't know if those worlds are supposed to cross, but I could see a decent amount of...
see it.
I mean, they already did basically do the VTube rig for Rin, for the extra announcement stream, so, like, I could see some fun stuff. Not VTube style, but I've talked about how, apparently there were some streams with, Nero and Tombo's VAs playing Kantai Collection, or like a drama CD thing, I'm not sure, but that could be funny. I feel like that's another big one. Get some Nero energy in there. Sakura Tange. Just get in there. Just fucking throwing umus.
Talk about Rome, how great Rome is.
Yes.
Clearly you need to play some Rome game, though.
Play some Rome game, and also, you know who we need to get in here? You know who's just my first thought of just, like, boasting in random noises? Pekora.
Oh my god.
Make an Umu Peko stream.
Umu Peko.
The ego explodes the universe.
I can't. We gotta move on. All right,
yeah. We could probably come up with some more dumb ideas, but we won't. Give your dumb ideas in the comments.
So thank you, Sencho is love, Sencho is life. This next one is that one guy who exists. He's been existing since the beginning. That's a long time. But they say, hey, Lucky Omega, hope you're doing good. I have only slept 4 hours in the past 48 hours. In your opinion, are there any story log units that you think have no reason to be story locked? Anyways, hope you have a good rest of the week and take care.
Okay, actually, hold on. Let me link this for Lucky.
Oh.
So he can look.
Oh.
At the list.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because I pulled it up. Because I wanted to double check who actually counts. I mean, there are a couple who jump out at me. Lancer Li Shuwen is a weird one. He doesn't really do anything in the plot. I mean, he's got a fun thing with cock, but mostly it's not actually important to the plot. Like, he's a normal guy. He should probably appear. Is his advanced version locked too? Yeah, okay. Li Shuwen is just story locked. That's a little awkward considering he's a major character in a lot of other things. Season 9 being story locked makes sense. She's weird and she shows up in the thing, right? Like, actually, a lot of these characters are unusual or have unusual circumstances with their contract or are villains.
Yeah, like, honestly, like, I'm kind of surprised that our Saber Alter is story locked the more I think about it. Because...
Well, I mean, she's the first villain, so that does... And she is an evil character. That I kind of understand, right? Like,
I kind of understand, but... Like,
I would say out of the two of those right at the top, Nero's probably weirder?
No.
Like okay, well, then give me your justification. Not as like a challenge, just like, talk this through me.
Okay, because, in game, especially, like, right at the beginning, like, Sabers were kind of fucked. Like, they really were. Yes. Like, I'm sorry, like, Lucky's trying to big brain right now. We had...
I mean, there's nobody. It's, I think there's 5 of them.
Yeah, there was Altera, Artura, like, in the common pool, there's Altera, Artoria, Caesar, and Gills, if I remember.
Saber Giles.
Saber Giles, this thing.
That's it.
And then we had Altera, and Siegfried, excuse me.
Oh, right, yes, Sumanai. No, she was out. That's what he's saying. She's not in the common pool. You guys may not know because she's in the prologue that you have to complete to do most of the stuff. But Saber Alter is story locked.
Yeah. Actually, no, now that I think about it, no, actually, yeah, no, her niche was covered. But I still feel weird that the Saber pool was, like, one of the smallest.
Well, yeah, and I can see that. I'm just, out of the 2 4-stars who are Sabers who are story-locked out of that set, I would still say that I think Nero makes more sense as a general summon.
Yeah, no, actually, I will agree with you now, because I literally had forgotten about Siegfried in the SR category.
Most people did, unfortunately. He was back then, he was a literal joke.
Yeah, like, because, like, that's the thing, it's like, I was gonna say is because, while you had your budget single target form in Caesar, you didn't have a budget who does okay. You necessarily wouldn't have a budget SR AOE, but I was like, wait, nope, Siegfried takes up that slot, and because we definitely still do not have a plethora of SSR single targets.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm looking at the list. Most of these are antagonists or like surprise characters, so it kind of makes sense. Like, okay, Gilderay Caster, sure. Cascu, like they give you a free copy, but yeah, he's like the special Fuyuki character. I lament every time that Medea Lily is story locked because I was not that guy who went apeshit on that first Gahak banner, so I still don't have any of those and probably never will. Because she's got a really unique and interesting niche. But like Tesla and Lancer Alter, they're kind of secret. Ku and Maeve, again, kind of makes sense. I mean, Ku Alter's really good, so that hurts me, but that also makes sense because he is the super secret final boss man. He's a weird boy. Edison and Li Shuwen, I think, out of America are weird choices, right? Like, I get what they're going for with Edison because you don't really get on his side and meet him or anything until later, but still it's weird. Like, what are you hiding by not making him summonable, Mm-hmm. Are you just hiding the surprise that Thomas Edison has a lion head while the fucking story doesn't do that?
Actually, I just realized literally 4 of America's characters were story locked.
Oh yeah, no. And scroll down to Camelot. There's also a lot of those there, some of which I think are weird. Gawain is story locked, but Lancelot is not. Like Tristan, I can kind of understand. You get to keep the mystery, right? Because Tristan is reversed. But Gawain? Weird. Bedivere certainly makes sense for reasons.
Yes.
And as much as I know that pains you, Lucky, I think Ketz also makes some sense, right? Because we don't contract her normally until in the story, right? Like, that makes perfect sense. It's like we actually make the contact. Jaguar Warrior's a little weird, though. Gorgon kind of makes sense. There's a lot of story stuff. I think Emiya Alter falls in the same, like, secret villain / not villain rule, because he's kind of on our side, but you don't learn that until later, so that might be weird to summon him. Rider of Resistance, as much as I don't like him and wouldn't care to roll him, I can see as maybe not necessarily needing to be story locked.
Actually, I'm gonna go a little Emiya Alter because this is the same time that Hessian Lobo shows up, who is all villain all the time.
Yeah, exactly. That one, I think they tried to be nice to us because he's a permanent 4-star assassin, or not assassin, Avenger. Started with an A. But yeah, no, that's still, it's a little weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yagyu is, I assume, also because of, like, the story twist, but then why Kato Danzo? Like, I don't necessarily get why that. Shiba's also kind of makes sense as a story lock because of the way she is in the plot, right? Like, between Kirky and Shiba, Caster of Midrash, I think, makes better sense as a story lock, as like, oh, well, she's only showing up to do a specific thing, and then after you're like, hey, you can crash in my place.
Real talk, though, I think I would rather preferred if they made Abby a story lock, though.
Well, probably, but that's just because of foreigners.
Yeah.
I said before about Sitanai. I don't know why red hair is a story lock. That's another weird one. I don't know if for future shit, I will say I don't know if Lost Belt 3 will explain that better. But that makes sense. Kind of why I'm like, Consort U, Sitanai, Salieri is, Ashvathaman is like an enemy servant, so that kind of makes sense. I think Asclepius is more justified in story. Also, is that, by the way, were there no story locks for Atlantis? For Lost Belt 5 period, both parts?
If I remember correctly, they put a lot of focus on new bronzes.
I don't know what that means. Canis. Okay, yes, okay. There you go. You typed. You dirty mobile posters. Yes, that's correct. That's not added to this list, but Canis is story lock. Again, much like Ashvathaman. Makes total sense. Absolutely makes sense that you can't, outside of banners, you can't summon her until you've done the story.
I remember in 5, there was Jason and Corday showed up, so those were bronzes that got... I
think most of the guys are limited or were added later. Like, Odysseus is permanent, but he wasn't added until White Day.
Yeah.
Same with Dioscuri. They're permanent, but weren't added until Part 2 came out, as we just discussed earlier. But yeah, anyway, I think we ran down the line. There are definitely some of them. Mm-hmm. I feel like there are a couple who I don't know if they have good reasons. Most of them are justifiable. Some of them are weird.
Mm-hmm.
And some of that could just be early weirdness, right? Like, if they were to do it today, maybe they wouldn't lock 2 out of 3 starting 4-star sabers behind story. Even though, admittedly, with Saber Altar that is kind of like, you have to complete Fuyuki to get that, so that's basically you have to complete Fuyuki to do fucking anything in this game. But still, she is only available on certain raid-ups or in story, or on those tickets. That's how I got mine. Like, Nero at least got some early raid-ups with the Nero Fez stuff, which is where I snagged mine. But yeah, no, definitely I've got a lot of tickets lined up for these men and women in the future.
By the way, Architect, I saw you when you said, but no one uses Hime anyway, and that was the moment in the soundtrack where the violins fucking screech and you get the dramatic zoom in on looking.
And then he fixes it and you're just like, oh, it's fine.
Oh, it's fine.
All right. We spent a long time on that one. Let's move on to a different one.
Mm-hmm. So, this next one? Oh, excuse me. Thank you, that one guy who exists, who's been existing since the beginning. We move on to a proud master who got his Tamamo to Bon 10 during Gilfest. Good on you, mate. But they say, hello, Lucky and Omega. No fancy titles this week for you too. How dare. I recall one of you saying that he wished the bonus from Bon CE was just added to the servant as an extra passive skill. That was me. Aside from Herc, because let's face it, 3 guts. Why did you go numeral 3 and then write 3?
That's a weird one.
It's just nice from the Bon CE. From the Bond 10 CEs that you that the two of you have, which would you excuse me.
By the way, I would like to point out this is difficulty Lucky is having in real life, probably because of the power of 2 monsters. Most of the grammar is good. The 3-3 thing though is on you, buddy. Yeah.
From the Bond 10 CEs that you have, which would fit that idea the best? Well, let's see here. What Bond 10s do I have? Off the top of my head,
I got like 4. I mean, like, obviously. Okay, so Herx is universally considered to actually be a really good Bond CE. Like, that's actually worth it. Mm-hmm. Can't wait to get there myself, but I'm not there. Let's see, I have Jean's, that's just a 15% Buster passive. That's pretty good, but...
Mine's super easy. I have a Tamamo. That's literally 15% increased arts performance for everyone. That's just great.
That's the same as Jean, which is weird. That's why Jean never gets hers used. Hey, guess what? I also have Relic of the King, Waver's Bond CE. It does the exact same thing as Jean's.
Buster.
Yeah, 15% Buster. Yeah. Great job on your diversity, guys. What's Xerxolot's? Lancelot. You can spell Lancelot, me. You can figure it out. Lucky hasn't slept, and I slept too much. I don't even know what time it is. What's his Bond CE do?
I do have
damage by 30%, increase crit rate by... Increase crit 13? Oh, entrance increase crit rate. Ooh, well, that's pretty good. 30% NP damage might be a lot. I mean, I'm never going to equip it because K-scopes, but yeah, no, it's very spicy. That could be fun. What were you saying, Lucky?
Oh, no. Like I said, on the other hand, I also have waivers, Kios, Tomicats, but Tomicats is interesting. It gives the whole team HP up. I think is it 2,000 or 1,000? I can't remember. But it gives a max HP boost. And it's useful, but again, this is on Tomicat, who, while has been reworked to be a little bit better, is still, squishy berserk.
Okay, so Sony could actually call it a rash. A rash might be too much if he could get it all the time, because it's actually really good, but again, you're probably not going to use it because you want to immediately do his NP. But his is Sacred Devotion. If it's equipped to a rash, when he dies, all allies remove all debuffs and recover 5,000 HP. Wow. Which obviously you use to blow him up, and then he does it. No, it's pretty potent. It's a lot of these are strong effects if you're using the servant, like, in a normal way, but most of us don't. Most of us are just like, K-scope, do the thing, do all the stuff. Go fast, and shoot green.
But, yeah, so, again, as someone who uses arts teams a lot, Tamamo would be great. I haven't got it yet, but I'd also use caster guilds, which I think is like 10% arts and did 10% NP damage. Or
like
NP
on the one hand, thinking about it, I'm like, wow, those are really bananas levels, right? But also, you have to the sacrificing a CE slot is worth so much. Like, I would almost like it as almost like a command code type effect, right? Or like a mystic code where you can equip one bond effect for free. I'd love that. That would be great.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Because on the one hand, okay, yeah, that's really boring. Jean and Waver have the same one. On the other hand, I have both of them at Bond 10. If I automatically got 30% Buster to all allies just for them existing, it's probably a little much. It's a delicate balance. It's interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. I think a lot of them in general would benefit from this, but it would need some wiggling. Yeah, the no stats thing is a little weird, but I don't know. Who knows? They could always. That's something they could probably fix, right? Like they could probably backpatch and just much like they made them indestructible. They could backpatch it and be just like, all right, and now your bond CEs give 1,000 HP and attack. That just actually, if they could code them to only work to the servant that they work for, that would be the best.
Yeah,
and make it like a double grail. Like, all right, and now your favorite servant gets an extra 1,000 attack and HP. Goodbye. That would be a pretty fun one. Because, there's always those servants that you're like, I just want you to have a little bit more attack. No, I'm getting burpy.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
It's a spicy chicken.
Thank you, a proud master who got his Tamamo to Bond 10 during Gilfest. We move on to a girl who is enjoying Gilfest lottos.
Are we getting close to that hour?
We have 13 minutes left.
Okay, we can do a few more. He says.
But they say, hey guys, if you had the chance to get a single 5-star copy of a Saber, Ren, or Sakura, which girl would you pick? Lucky's answer is easy. It's Sakura.
Lucky's really changed in the past 3 years. I actually don't know how much, but I feel like you didn't know anything about Sakura when we started this show.
No, that checks out. Lucky didn't know anything about Heaven's Feel. Again, Lucky,
by the way, I say audience, I say that as a joke because I'm pretty sure, much like we were unified on Unlimited Blade Works, we were both unified on a Rin when we did our very first show, but that was also 3 years ago.
Yeah, no. As Lucky has a boner. I will say I discovered this in these past 3 years, but Lucky definitely has a boner for tragic/evil heroines.
I like the full stop though. There, Lucky has a boner. Pause. But no, yeah, mine would be Rin. I mean, that should be obvious with my many collections. But yeah, no.
Oh no.
I feel like this was just a very different way to ask us which one we prefer.
Lucky will say though, Rin is still muy excellent, very good, top %. But if he has to choose, it's gonna be Sakura. So yeah, so don't expect. If anyone tries to start fucking like Rin versus Sakura fights, I'm gonna slap them both down and be like, "How dare y'all!" Oh yeah, I did say that.
Lucky says many things.
So thank you, a girl who is enjoying Gilfest Lottos. The next one comes from Zed, just Zed, who says, comment. Effort well spent for Anastasia. She's helping me grind boxes for a bit and a half, so I'm happy I have her. Hope her grinding is going well. My target is 30 boxes for Gilfest, so I can level 100, 10, 10, 10 in upcoming servant. I hope you guys are meeting your own grinding goals. I'm getting there. Question. If the Lightworks ever makes a Bride event with a Brawl alt banner, who would you guys want to get Bride alt alongside your top waifus? Of course, just names, no class or skill sets, just pick 4 waifus to become brides for this event. Thank you. Let's see here.
I mean, I'll go ahead and solve one for Lucky. I've already said there should be a Tamamo bride.
You can't see it, but Lucky did a very, very energetic thumbs up.
Also because Japanese wedding kimonos are lit.
They are. And again, there is like this whole thing about a fox wedding.
Yeah, that's what they call sun showers over there.
Yep. But other than Tamamo...
Also, I don't know what the heck people are doing right now. Now we're just posting weird gifs. We're getting weird with it. Other bridos. I mean, this is Fate, and this is the Lightworks. We could go obvious. Artoria Bride.
I would like to say like a heroine bride for all 3, honestly. We need probably an Artoria Bride, some sort of Ren Bride, and a Sakura Bride. Of some variety.
They could probably swing that. Parvati Bride. Kick her to 5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that much about the Indian subcontinent, but do they have any interesting designs for a wedding? They probably do.
I think they do. It's like, if I had to check out, I would definitely like an Aresh Bride, though. Bride of the Underworld.
That could probably be fun, much like how, for a couple of the Ironblood ships, Azure Lane has done black wedding gowns. That could be an interesting kind of look for Aresh.
Well, I think it'd be good for Aresh because Ishtar has gotten way more.
She's gotten a couple more alts so far over the time has gone on.
Yeah.
Though also, white is the color of death, so Aresh could have a white wedding still. Could be interesting. They could do some stuff.
Liz Bride would be a disaster, and that's why I'm for it.
Liz doesn't even want to get married. She just decided to do the fashion.
Oh my god, that gives a whole new meaning to the word bridezilla.
And then Nero Bride shows up and is just like, Liz, you understand what the meaning of this costume is, and Liz just turns bright red and explodes. That's how it ends.
Honestly, I'm okay with not having a Carmilla Bride, I will say.
I mean, I would much prefer Carmilla Coat than Carmilla Bride.
Yeah. Casual Carmilla is powerful. Let's see here, but as you could
embarrass Osakabe Hime even more. Make her dress up in 5 million layers of wedding kimono. Everybody just throwing out shit in chat now.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, no. Like I said, I do believe there are designs of Arturia already in a wedding dress. I believe it was you. Hang on.
They've done a lot of designs because it's been like 15 years or whatever. They've done a lot of designs for the core heroines, including dress designs and whatnot. So yes, I'm sure. I don't know if there's full blown wedding, though I would not be surprised with Saber. There definitely are like a variety of formal dress looks for all the main FSN heroines.
Yes.
Oh wait, here's another funny one. Jaguar Man Bride. Tyga's finally got to force herself to become a real heroine.
All right, but we get
enough for that. Yeah, I think we got it. We have more. We were asked for 4. I believe we gave probably at least twice that.
Yeah, no. I like thinking about waifus. So thank you, Jazed. We move on to Seeker of Casino King Bun Bun, who says, "Thanks for the info last week. Hope you're all doing well. I am surviving."
Thumbs up. I expect Lucky. I don't know. This one was from like 4 hours ago. I believe several of these feel-good questions are probably because yesterday you posted, I am currently floor, I cannot stream.
Yeah, no, Lucky literally had this super bad case of vertigo. If he was standing up, he'd feel like the earth kept trying to come up and smack the everything.
I've had sensations like that before. It is not fun. That is full-blown, I am become bed.
Yes, and Lucky did become bed and did not sleep and just read light novels for, like, forever.
Well, that's the weird thing about it. Maybe you should pause the timer. But that's the weird thing about stuff like vertigo and things where it's like, okay, I'm not tired. I can't stand up right now because I feel like I'm going to puke or fall over.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sleepy. Like, I felt that before when I've been, like, with fevers and other stuff, too. Where I'm like, okay, my body does not want to be vertical, but I'm not sleeping.
Yeah.
Which can be it's a very weird place because guess what? When you lay down, you're not burning any energy at all.
Nope.
BB Bride. Oh, no.
I would love a BB Bride.
That also fits the Sakura qualification.
Yes, it does.
She would be the Black Bride. It's even in her name. Ooh, I made it work. I mean, technically BB does stand for Black Blossom. Anyway, all right.
Black Blossom Bride.
That was
no Kiara Bride. No. Too dangerous.
Kiara Bride is just wedding lingerie.
Kiara
Kiara Bride should show up at the end as you like open your door and you just slam the door shut. Nope. Not doing that. Anyway, we were addressing Secret of Casino King Bun Bun.
Yes. But yeah, no. So I do appreciate feel goods, and Lucky is a little upset because I had actually figured out a way to stream 2 gacha games at once. I made a new background. I recently, I was so excited, and then
he's been doing
I get up, and it's like, hey, you want to be laying down right now? It's like, no, I'm fine. You want to be laying down right now? I'll lay down right now. All right, but let me start that timer again. So thank you, a Seeker of Casino King Bun Bun. We move on to Rasco Masto does dream of Bunny Girl Ishtar. My question is, with the addition of Bunny Seashow, what are some costumes you really want to see in the future?
Well, let me tell you. So apparently in Arcade, they actually have qualifications between transformation dress, which is just we stuck a new accessory on our model. That's like ponytail, like Drake or Kiyohime, which, by the way, though, ponytail Drake gives me life, so also do that, please. But then they have full body dress, which are specialer and more rare, and those include things like the piercing bunny, which we've gotten. That includes the anniversary party dresses for both Jean and Jolter. Would love that. Would be great. That's also, they've got Battle in New York Gil with the trench coat. That could also be cool. I think those are all the big ones that we don't have. So, first of all, throw those out there. Those are great. Let's see. And then I guess the other thing would just be let's see, what good costumes have they had in CEs? I don't know. I'm thinking. Lucky, anything that jumps out at you?
Jumps out at me? Well, again, like, I look, you say costumes, I always look at the plethora of costumes that exist in Extella and Extella Link.
It's true. There's a lot. There's a lot of costume DLC. Police Town was a good one.
Yep.
Even though Bunny Scock's cool, but it's not Soldier of Shadows or whatever. Also, not even a costume, but just frickin' Extella Drake also has the ponytail, but also does different stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Please, give me life. Give me that sweet Onago action.
Let me see here. Let me actually pull some of these up. Hang on.
People are bringing up redrop CEs as potential costumes, and I'm just like, I don't know if that's possible.
Do you want fucking Chinese girl Medusa?
Hey, let me get a costume. Honestly, I've always thought Medusa should get Glasses Apron, because that's a story sprite she has, but they could do some other stuff. She has a few different costumes.
Let's see, Nero has a few costumes. Arjuna, Karna.
Actually, I'm trying to track down the fucking costume list. I'm like, wait, I should get a Tycoon wiki.
No. We have Bunny Girl, Skahawk, so clearly we need load it. Bunny Girl Medusa.
That could work too. That's a good one.
Oh, let's see here. I'm Lucky. Okay, Lucky's gonna pause because he wants to go actually look up Extella costumes.
Sure, go for it. I'm trying to track them down too. Enter the FAF zone.
Oh yeah, there's a fucking costume of Gwen in like samurai armor. That's fucking baller.
Oh, actually, I know what I need. Shoot, that link didn't work. Give me the frickin'...
Is that a cowgirl Drake?
Yes, it is. I'm gonna link it.
Oh.
I'm linking it. There it is. There's a good one.
See, this is how you know Omega and I hive mind occasionally.
We're both hunting for it. We're like, where's the costumes? Her summer costume, by the way, is fucking adorable, but that's not I'm a pirate cowboy. Like I said, just her default costume in Link is also fucking great.
Let's see here. Let's see if I can find a hacking.
Let me just Google if there's a costume list.
That's what I'm doing.
Mystic Code costumes unlocks. Fate Grand Order fandom. Stella Link DLC costumes is on the FGO wiki? Well, we'll see. Oh no, it's a link. Okay, somebody posted a topic. Is
that a fucking Seraph police guild? That's amazing. I love it.
I do believe there was a police guild, yeah. Shoot. I was just happened to see a scroll by. Apparently Drake's first version of her character design was blue. Interesting. Can we also just do that? Can I just get color flip? Nega Drake. No, we should actually, let's just have them do a real Drake alter, and then just make her blue. It's perfect. Please. That didn't help.
Oh my god, there is a Forest Ninja Robin. Great.
I am still not finding a good list.
There is a Witch Tamamo. Let's see here.
Well, there's Magical Girl Dog Jean. It's a pretty funny one. Cheerleader Liz is pretty funny. Oh, actually, just in general, talking about Jean costumes, fucking Schoolgirl Jean. With possible side boob, just do it. Lucky, you know what? You know what? It's a crime.
What?
We haven't mentioned Sweet Devil Altera yet. Her nurse, mode.
That is very true.
Oh, geez, that must be Link. That's got Skahawk in it. I just was scrolling over to a list of all the summer costumes, and I'm like, okay, yeah, some of these are familiar. And then I was like, the Medusa one in Link is way wilder. Hold on, let me just copy the full image. Let me just throw that in. This is like fucking summer wrestler Medusa. Not that I mind the full body cleavage to navel. Medusa, honey, you got a great navel. But it's very weird.
I would like, just because I want more Tamamo costumes, I would like Magical Tamamo as well.
Head Nurse of Steel. Speaking of Saber in a dress, there's her Lapis Lazuli dress. I think that was the pre-costume they did if you already owned Extella when you bought Link.
And that's because Wada Arco is fucking horny on main.
Yeah, you want to talk about horny power.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We need Wada Arco to become a VTuber. She'd be the horniest. But yes, there are many, many costumes. Okay, all right.
Okay, I think we have faffed about. So, let me restart that timer. We only got 2 minutes, 30 seconds left.
So that's probably 1 question or 5 questions.
So thank you, Raskin Master Does Dream of Bunny Girl Ishtar. The next one comes from Grinding Event, Grinding My Sanity. What is this, Arknights? But they say, Dear Lucky Omega. So, Sigurd punches swords, Skahawk, at least her summer version, kicks spears, and Orion throws his bow. What do you think the natural progression is from this? Me thinks breakdancing with axes.
Well, Summer Consort you pole dances with spears.
I'm going to stop on this, because I actually want to do a think on this for a moment.
Okay, he's got to think.
I want to think.
We should have an archer who punches people with arrows. Not even throws them, but, not even use them as a projectile. Use them just as knives. Stab them with arrows. We need somebody who surfs on a shield. Wait, shit, no.
That's literally
what I'm about to say. Yeah, that's right.
No, right. No, that means we need someone to suplex vehicles onto the enemy.
Yes, somebody needs to wrestle trains. Who invented the locomotive? There's got to be some guy who did it. Somebody invented the locomotive, so he has all the power of the steam engine in him or something. Somebody should juggle axes. Actually, what would be much more likely is we'd get somebody to do that fucking upside-down backwards Spetsnaz hatchet throw. Which you've never seen is, yes, the Russian Spetsnaz, the Special Forces guys, do apparently train with throwing hatchets, one of which their highest level moves is to train to throw one while in mid-air upside down. Like, you do a fucking backflip and you throw it.
By the way, the timer is going down now since I have actually came up with my answer.
Okay, go for it.
Well, as I said, again, so yes, we need someone to suplex vehicle. Martha kinda does it, but no, actual vehicles. And the only last one, like, honestly, I can't think of one for assassins. I really can't. Assassins and casters are this weird catch-all term. Kinda same with berserkers. But, yeah, no, so yeah.
Suplex, you know what? We need somebody to wield a shovel.
Yes. Probably
Shovel Knight collab win.
That'd be great. Alright, but, I'm gonna get one more in here, so thank you, Grinding Event, Grinding My Sanity. We move on to, yeah boy with E-EX Luck, who says, Hi guys, hope this isn't too long. I'm fairly new to FGO, maybe 9 months now, but I've noticed something. My luck is very finicky. I always spend about 80 to 160 max per month, and some events, I'll be able to MLB every CE. Other times, I'll get at least one of every unit on the banner. But almost never both. It's only happened twice. Have either of you experienced grabbing every CE but not single unit from the banner or the inverse? Or have you ever gotten all the CEs and units? Let me tell you.
Go ahead.
Luck is wild.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like everybody listening now can understand you, ya boy. I feel like I've heard that story from most of our fans, where it's just like, yeah, I just blew, 200 quartz on this banner, didn't see a single new servant, but I've got all the CEs. The CEs won't leave me alone. Or people rolling extra servants while going, I just wanted a 5-star CE.
That was literally lucky a couple weeks ago. But yeah. Unfortunately, that's luck. And be wary of faith in the gambler's fallacy.
Yes, there's no guarantee. I think that just in general, this is an aspect of FGO's chance-based system, in the fact that CEs and servants are all in the same thing. You're guaranteed a CE in the pool, and guaranteed one servant. Actually, are you guaranteed a CE? I don't think you are, technically. You're only guaranteed one servant in the pool, and one card of any rarity, of any type, which is 4-star or higher. It's usually CEs, but could be a servant. And just the way all these modifiers and requirements interact with the raw probability mean that, yeah, FGO can be very swingy.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten all banner servants fast. I've gotten no banner servants in shitloads of quartz and money. I've gotten too many CEs, too few CEs. The works.
But that's all we can really say.
Yep.
So thank you, ya boy with E to EX Luck, for your question. But with that, our time has run out. We have actually a lot more than I thought we would.
We definitely got bogged down in a couple.
Yeah. But unfortunately, that's the time. Again, if you didn't make it this time, please try again next time. Or just wait till there might be a slow week. And we do the full thing. But Omega, would you mind pausing the recording?
No, that's fine. I was thinking about doing it myself. Let's take another intermission, because we're almost at 2 hours. And we're back. Made a very loud click sound. Anyway, okay. We're gonna do free talk. Robin, that means you. So, first off, I mean, technically this should be like second impressions, but whatever. It's Gilfest impressions. It has a single bullet point. It says, CQs suck, everyone agrees.
Yeah.
I mean, some people will disagree on which CQs suck, but I'm pretty sure I've heard everybody express that at least one of these is awful and the worst, and they hate it. Yeah. So, that's the big thing. Obviously, we've talked about, our results on grinding and whatnot. I'm working on the shop right now, currency, after doing a decent amount of lottos. I like the lottos because of the skill gems, been getting a lot of skills level, but, man, even if they give you the materials, boy, howdy, this stuff's hard. It's rough. I've basically given up Leonidas. I did beat Ezo. I got that to work with a little finagling. But I haven't done any more. I haven't even tried the Etchen one yet. I'm not sure about it. A lot of people are complaining. I think I meant... Ooh, actually, did I mention this on mic? I think I might have. Or maybe it was in the pre-show. It's been 2 hours since then, guys. I don't know. So sorry if this is repeating too much something I said earlier. But, I was expressing the contemplation. I feel like there's too much RNG in the way these are built, you know? Like, okay, the Jaguar Man one. Cool. I understand the strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know? Jean is resistant to arts, Jaguar Man's resistant to quick, nobody's resistant to buster. Okay, so you cycle it up, you build your team comp, great. And then I do all this setup, and I do the easy win, like I use a Resh like a lot of people when having success. I pop Merlin's invul on the first turn, because literally every time I tried the quest, Nobu buster crits and immediately jobs somebody out, which I got tired of. And I try to do the thing, and then I don't draw any non-buster cards, or that can do damage, so I can't kill Nobu, which means I just get beat up and die. I'm just like, intellectually I understand how this is supposed to go, it's just not going that way. And some people I know have been really crazy, and they have spent dozens or even hundreds of AP, keeping in mind they cost very little AP to do, on setting up CQs. I know a lot of people have been save scumming to get the perfect opening hand, right? I'm just like, I don't got patience for that. I got too much shit to do, right?
Yeah.
With Shiba, I did a Ketz run. A lot of people are using Oz. I don't have him, but Ketz also has NP seal on her NP and a single target and has stuff. I got her through most of the bar, but when she's got a fucking million HP on the last one, it's just shit, I cannot do enough of this damage fast enough. Right?
Especially with Shiba throwing 8 debuffs out, and I'm like,
when she passes out 6 buffs per turn, and you're like, Shiba, you just gave 6 buffs to Waver and Merlin, 2 of which were NP strength and quick and stuff. What do you want from me? It's not possible. Dear Merlin, I would like you to crit. That's not happening. Merlin's just nope. So she gets, like you said, she gets to proc 8 debuffs, and you're just like, well, shit.
Then, again, you're and her keep refresh, so yeah, that's RNG there.
Yeah, like I said, I bet some people have probably gotten lucky, and she's only been here, Herc, have Buster, NP damage, go nuts. And you're like, perfect, great. I felt like Shiba would almost get easier, but really she doesn't. She's just so chaotic in RNG, it's really hard to pre-plan for. So yeah, it's wild. And obviously, like we said at the front of the show, it's not a big deal if you can't do them, right? They're some of the hardest quests in the game. They're really designed to be unfair and just... And I feel like it's okay that some people are like, oh, I got really lucky. And some people have very specific comps that work. It's definitely had me thinking about diversifying and leveling up some of my old units and being oh, Summer BB, you're actually really useful. Let me actually make sure to feed your skills because those are fucking expensive.
Yeah.
All that stuff. But, yeah. Other than CQ stuff, though, I don't really have anything else to say about it. It exists.
I will say, if I haven't said this, I'm going to say it now, and shame on Pants Lucky for not saying it. Shop Shiba gives me life.
I definitely feel like I've heard you say that, but here's the thing. I talk to you all the time. I have no idea when you said that. You could have said that during the 4 hours of Among Us we recorded. You could have said that on the Discord. You could have said that to me last week. You could have whispered it in my dreams. I don't know. Actually, wait, no. How would Lucky be in my dreams if he didn't sleep? He can't dream walk while awake. That's not how it works.
Or can he? Who fucking knows?
Or can he?
By the way, I just finished my 20th box. Yay! Minimum
nice.
has
You're
been met. Yes. But yes, that's my min. So
yeah, I'm hoping to probably get upwards of 20. Like I said, I'm like, shit, I need to remember to actually clear out the mats I wanted at the shop before I forget, because I do want some
actually, now that I hit 20, I should probably do that myself.
Yeah, there's gunpowders and feathers and night metals and shit in there, bruh. Bruh. It's great.
But again, like I'm enjoying like the farming aspect, because the farming aspect, especially for like lottos, is pretty no brain. It's pretty no brain. But then, because you literally have to put all brain in CQ, like
exactly, CQ is maximum brain.
Like I've tried, like I said, thanks to the stream, I was able to complete Tota. Again, thank you, Tom Lancer. I love you. But I've tried Leonidas.
That one.
I've like tried Leonidas. I've tried the fields. I've tried Sheba. I haven't tried X. I haven't tried X.
Yeah, that's brand new, because they've been. I think this is because they had to do this because of like maintenance or problems, but they've been slowly doling out the last couple CQs.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give it a try, because who knows, maybe I can like do it a couple like honestly, I think I might be able to do the Sheba one. I still have no fucking idea how to do the Leonidas one though. A lot of people are talking about you need to do like into death strats. I'm like, yeah, but that means I have to like level up my Nito or
it'd have to be Nito, or you have to invest in Void and like build a setup so that Void can keep firing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Void is not built for necessarily consecutive firing, especially if
she's got a little bit of arts focus, but no, especially because her version of that skill is eat NP to gain HP, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the reverse. Assassin Shiki, which most people who've been playing a while will have, because 2 reruns. Her version of that skill is eat HP, gain bar.
Yeah.
Fun fact: Void has the reverse.
Mm-hmm. It's like, so, like, yeah, I would have to rely on one of my Nitos, and I'm just like,
like I saw somebody in the comments go like, Nito and Jean go burr, and I'm like, well, that strategy sounds good on paper, but you probably heavily invested into those 2 units. And I'm not confident, because I have Jean. I've got her on 10. I mentioned her earlier. She still takes a straight crit. It's over. It's owarida. You are dead. Like, those guys are really beefy. So yeah, I think I'm gonna give up on Leonidas. My plan to just go apeshit and bully lots of Spartans didn't work out. So I don't know. I feel like I said, like with the thing stopping me from doing Sheba or doing the Jaguar Man one is just how many times do I feel like trying this over and over again, and will I spend seals on it, right?
What kills me about the fucking Spartan one is they're multi-class, and they're like wildly different HP totals. I don't know.
Oh yeah, with the mobs, I feel like people have been expecting that about Etchen's one. Like some of them are like, "Hey, have a 1 million HP mob," and it's just like,
this ain't a mob.
Okay, so the goal is for her to eat that. I see, because it's the snacks theme. Like they're crazy. So yeah, no, it's a little, and I'm sure they've got some more unholy things for us to tangle with next year. Not 2 years from now, though. Bless you, Scoffest. Blessed Shisho brings you a lotto event with a cool new game type and no CQs. Praise Shisho.
Yes.
But next year, I'm sure they'll come up with some other ludicrous shit. I'll be too busy having I believe that's when Ishtar's costume, Super Ishtar, comes out, to be giving a fuck, but we'll try. By the way, I've said this already. I'm absolutely not doing the finale. I hate those finales. They suck. They're so finicky.
Yeah, no, like, again, like, I will say, I find these CQs hard and nonsensical, but still enjoyable in a sense. But I see that
most of them are still worth trying, right? They're worth experimenting with, but some of them, for us anyway, you have to just be like, ooh, I am not too cool for school pro enough to do this without dedicating a lot of brain power, and do I have time for that? You know, that's time we have that could be spent shooting 4 hours of Among Us. I'm not kidding, by the way. I think that was like a 3 or 4 hour sesh that Lucky got all on camera.
Yeah, no, I did record it. I haven't done anything with it because I've been laying down and in the void.
No, but there will be many Among Us clips coming to our channel unless Lucky looks at it just as like, fuck it, and just throws it all up there. You never know with us.
You never know.
We could probably get away with a 4 hour video. Because it's us.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like that's time we use for other stuff, including lotto farming. Quiet you. No phrasing, just quiet you. But yeah, there's a lot of other stuff we do with our lives that just, even if it's cheap on AP, right? Like I'm just like, I really don't care enough, right, to literally, like, soft reset every time I don't get a good hand of starting cards. I could do that, but I really don't want to.
Nah.
And obviously, like, if you have the time or dedication to do that, hey, more power to you. It's just, like I said, that's just not how I feel about doing stuff usually. I don't like when I have to do that. That's not enjoyable to me. Just trying them raw, like you said, is actually it's at very few times, like, Leonidas definitely got me a little spicy. I was just like, okay, this is full-blown, nothing can be done. But most of the CQs, I'm like, okay, alright, I'll see it. I see where this goes. I didn't get it. But
I find them very novel.
That is true. The novel is definitely a good word for it.
Yes. Like, I like the mechanics in them. I find them interesting. I like how they try different things. But in the finals, it's just all, like, they literally just throw things at you. And it's like, if you kill it, effects happen. I'm just like,
Yeah, and I will also say, definitely I feel like sometimes it almost feels like the CQs go a little too far. Like, okay, I get they're supposed to be challenging, right? And I guess that's the point, right? They go in with the idea, oh god, somebody in Let's Look FGO chat is saying that these will come back next year straight up.
No!
I'm not excited about that.
No!
There will also be new ones, but yes, these coming back for like a rerun, I'm like, no, don't like that. But anyway, in general, I will say, though, next year at the very least, much like I can't go 5 feet without stubbing my toe on a Scotty, next year I probably won't be able to go 5 feet without stubbing my toe on an Arjuna Altar with a damage CE, which will probably be okay. Anyway, the novel aspect is good, and I guess the designers don't feel like they have to try and make it beatable per se, right? Without some RNG or without some very specific units. I do feel like I wish that, like, final bars or whatever, that last little bit was just like a little less gone crazy, because like I talk about, like with Tota, the fact that he straight up seals cards is like, that's really frustrating because you can literally not be able to play the game. Similarly, like with the Jaguar one, if you get down to Nobu and you don't have non-buster units, you're like, well, you're just fucked. Like, a lot of people are recommending using Musashi as the pinch hitter at the back. Well, I'm like, okay, but if Nobu is left alive and you get down to Musashi, you can't win. It's not possible. You won't. Musashi has 3 buster cards and a buster NP. She'll never hurt Nobu. Like, even solo, you're like, okay, so 2 out of my 5 cards are good. Which is just... So, you say they're novel, right? And I agree with that. That novelness, I think, comes from challenging a lot of the fundamental conceits of the game.
I can see that, yes.
But a lot of the way they challenge those conceits are just like, if you're not doing the thing, you just can't play, right? Like, the only way for them to make you do the fun thing is to make it impossible to do anything else. Like Shiba's like, okay, paywalls, great. So I give you buffs, which you can use, which are good. Great. If you don't use those buffs, you take debuffs. And if you don't use those buffs, also I have oodles and oodles of damage reduction. Also, I have like 5 billion HP. It's not that high, but she's got like 1 million on her last bar. It's rough. So, like, it's like they go those extra miles to make sure that you cannot, or at least to make it hard to cheese them, which is really...
I will say, like, I died a little when I got to the final bar, and it's like 1 million, and it was all like, oh, does the pain end?
1 million and she pops all those paywalls, yeah. Or the fact that if you actually go out of your way to defeat her mobs, not that I've bothered in my couple of attempts, but if you do, she just brings them back.
And killing, like, the first time I killed the front mob, and I got the 9-turn, like, buff block, I was all like, why? Why do this?
Yeah, no,
why
just don't. Just don't do that. Just suck it up when they stun you.
Yeah.
This is full blown the fucking Tomoe CQ at Setsubun, which I also managed to beat through some shenanigans. But god, that one was just another RNG fucker, because it's just like, again, the way they challenge you is by making you kind of go around these fundamental conceits, and it's like, damn, this is rough. Like some mechanics are not fun. The challenge is usually pretty entertaining, but sometimes it's just like the first couple times I played Tora Tota, and he was like, oh yeah, I've put Buster and Quick Seal on all your servants, and I'm like, I have drawn no arts cards this turn. I can't play. Great. I love this. That's an ironic I love this, by the way. What I mean is, I hate this. Similarly, again, like I talked about, like, I understand the strat to do the Jaguarman CQ. Like, there's some... Oh, and I love the fucking switching, because if you switch them off their terrain type, they can't do shit. Like, I have full-blown no defensive buffs. I have full-blown snacked on those NPs. Like, I've had Nobu go apeshit on a guy and just be like, oh, her NP damage debuff is so down that she does nothing, right? Like, it's crazy. But at the same time, the fact that they also have those hard resistances to card types is just like, if you just don't get the cards you need, you can't do the thing, and it's rough. It's hard. God, especially with, like a lot of the strategy I've seen people use is to advise Lancers, right? Like, a lot of people are saying Aresh is a godsend, which she really is. Aresh is really built for this shit. Like, her kit is so good, but, like, it's like, okay, but Lancers only have quicks and busters. Arts Lancers are, like, such a rarity that there were, like, 2 or 3 Arts Lancer welfares back to back, right? Like, that's how uncommon they are right now. So, like, it's definitely a very, very hard to make it work on all fronts, you know? Like with Ezo, I made Ezo work by introducing Abigail. Abigail worked as my pinch hitter to actually siphon. Abigail and other techs of buff removal were my strategy to actually get that to work, and I used a couple of judicious seals to just be like, oh, Shiba, your HP's low? No, it's not. And then just suck it up. But, hey, a lot of people don't have an Abby or an Amakusa. Both those units are limited and in extra classes. Like, you could full-blown not have a very on-brand option to just be like, no, I'm gonna strip your buffs now, bub. Like, it's the same with, like, doing the Leonidas CQ. There's some people who've probably poured a lot of love into Nita Chris. Good on you. I have a Nito. Her skills aren't really super leveled. She's only, like, level 70. You know, it's like, even if I go through leveling you, will this work? And is it worth the time and effort? Because leveling is a big deal. That said, the Lotto at least does give you a chance to do it.
Oh, yeah, no.
I don't have a provided, guys.
Lucky's been putting a lot of effort into getting at least 1/1/1s up to 4/4/4s, spreading them out a little bit, at least having that little bit. Maybe get servants that I have FR4, maybe the 6/6/6.
Yes, I've definitely been doing some of that, improving myself.
Like, right now, Lucky is crying in soaps and permafrost because he wanted to actually get Jean Archer.
There is a node which drops soaps, I believe, pretty regularly.
Oh yeah, no, that's the Lotto node, but I need a lot of them because I decided that I do want to try some quick strats with my Scotty. So I have her at, 888 right now? And she needs, 18 soaps per skill? 15 to 18? Somewhere in there. I'm like, that's a lot of soap.
That's a lot of soaps.
It's a lot of soaps. But, I've taken her from 1/1/1 to 8, wait, no. Is it 7/7/7?
Whatever that level is, yes.
Yeah, whatever the lower is of fuck tons of soaps is. So that one. And as I said, I'm out of permafrost too. And I'm out of fucking ghost lanterns. God damn it.
Bamboos. I'm sure there will be an opportunity for lamps.
Yeah, but then I'm looking at, God, I need to put some love into my BB.
Matt's hell never ends.
It never ends. It never ends. So I am appreciating this event. I just can't go mad lad on it like some people. Like, there was someone in our Discord who was talking about, can someone open up these 72 boxes worth 72 boxes on my Lotto? I was like, Jesus.
That's a lot. That's a lot of boxes.
That's a lot of boxes.
You're doing this for a while.
Yeah, you are. Actually, I should give my Pavardi some love because I love Pavardi.
Pavardi, especially if you're trying to do some quick strats, Pavardi's a good one. You got a lot of linchpins. Don't got that one.
Like I said, I love my arts meta, but as I said, I do love me some quick.
Also, honestly, a lot of this CQ is a lot of just like, hey, how diverse are you? Do you have lots of different strategies?
Mm-hmm.
Which, unfortunately, I gotta say, no, I don't. I don't really. Like, I have a lot of good generic pieces. I got Waver, I got Merlin, I can do some stuff, but there's definitely times where they're just like, nah, fuck you, though. Like, if you can't do... Well, it's mostly impossible to do all the things, but boy, howdy, a lot of these CQs really want to try, right? Like, they reward you for having the most diverse roster possible and figuring out which ones work. And it's sometimes rough when you don't have a diverse roster. I'm glad I have the units I have. Like I said, Aresh is perfect for a lot of these, and I've got her grailed to 110, 10, well, 8, 10, 10. I don't have her invincible skill to 10 yet because she needs a lot of fucking stakes that I don't have. It's hard. It's hard out here, guys, with the stakes. Okay, I'm gonna close Azure Lane for now. I got enough points to buy Key in the shop. Shout out to me. So I'm going to close BlueStacks for the day, because it's almost 10 o'clock at night. Let's move on, though, from here, because I think we've sung this song enough.
I think so.
Okay, so the other really quick, I just want to throw this as a quick free talk note, because it is relevant to some people who've talked about this before, but earlier this week, some of you may have seen, I don't know. I casually stumbled across it while looking at our Twitter that Kita Sean, it is Sean, right, guys? I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names. I've been talking about it all night.
If it's SEAN, it's usually Sean. Yes.
Yeah, that's how is the spelled, but
yeah.
I'm used to reading it. Okay, yes, it is Sean. All right, good, cool, great. We didn't embarrass ourselves, unless we did. But they threw out just a casual invite to people if they're in the FGO space, if they play Among Us to get a game together, and I tweeted back a very coy, "We play Among Us," and so I'm assuming this isn't a secret since it was tweeted publicly, but there is a little gathering. There's now the actual link is secret, but there is actually now a Discord gathering of some FGO streamers and YouTubers. There is a secret clubhouse, guys, and we did get invited to pay off on a joke from months ago. But to set up some games and stuff of some things, which we're tentatively scheduled for some, but also our motto is professional sleep boys, so we'll see. Apparently the people in this community are go-getters because they've already started scheduling things fast. But we'll try and get in there. I gotta be honest, I haven't seen any open discussion of like streaming or recording it. I'm gonna assume since we're all streamers and recorders of videos that somebody will do so, but I haven't heard any talk about that yet. I don't know again if we'll stream it directly or if I'll be too asleep to just make OBS run in background. OBS record this for later. But you might see some of those videos and you might see us in some other people's videos. Hey, you guys asked about collabs. We're trying. We're making an effort even though we are constantly dying from social anxiety. I'm not kidding. I thought there's a little introduction channel and I thought it was very proper to post something, but also I was probably 5 steps from a panic attack constantly while typing that, because I'm me.
Lucky might have had a moment where he just sat there and be like, what do I write? What do I write?
Write nothing. Write? Which, I mean, if you'd asked me, I would have said just, yeah, don't bother, I got us.
Yeah, no, I put in that I was the other 50%.
Yeah, we're a double channel, so I introduced myself and us as, I'm 50%, Lucky's the other 50%. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so like I said, we will try to be in some of those if they schedule them.
Could be fun.
Maybe we'll meet some new people. At the very least, it's nice to actually maybe have a community. Like, I see a lot of the people in it I see are like Twitch streamers who stream FGO and lots of other things. I don't know if they will want to, obviously, I don't know if people will want to be on the show, but at least it gives us a nice collection of people who will be easy to grab for it, if they want to. Because, as I said, we talk a lot. Some people say we talk too much. Mm-hmm. I don't know if people have a desire or a commitment to get on here for 2 hours or 3 hours, probably, because I haven't even done Teach Me yet, guys. Heyo! And just shoot the shit. I don't know if people feel like they want to do that, but hey, connections are part of this business, and it wouldn't go awry to make a few friends, and at least, hey, maybe we get some fun people to hang out.
It's who you know!
Among Us, there's gonna be a new Jackbox pack sometime. Fall, supposedly, so you never know. Could get some people up for some Quiplash. And, yeah, okay. Attempts are made. Alright. Let me check the mission clock. I'm going for about 2:20 raw. Definitely some awkward silences. No, Luffy, we're not talking about that. You'll have to read back in the archive, because I already told that story, and I'm not repeating it just for one person. But I think we'll let stuff out of the way. It is time to actually do the bit, and talk about Teach Me Omega-sensei. For the month of September, I stretch. Because September will be over soon. Shocking, I know. Our next show will record on the 2nd, though, so it's good to get it out of the way. And this one wasn't too hard to write. So, today, as voted on by our patrons, support us at the 5 and up level to vote in these polls. It is going to be, what are magic circuits and magic crests? And let's just jump on into it. So, this is a bit of a follow-up on our prior topic on Magecraft. That was last month, if you want to go back and review that one for some of the high-level concepts. I'm not going to fully re-explain stuff in this. Focus entirely on the new stuff, but you can find it pretty easy. We have a playlist for Teach Me Omega-sensei, and I'm pretty sure the new one is in it. Obviously, that's not automated, so I have to manually add stuff, but I'm pretty sure it's in there. Let me double-check. If it's not, I gotta add it. But, at the very least, attempts are made. Yeah, no, Summer Magic 201 on classes online. A very popular episode. Somebody even posted it on the subreddit. Maybe they'll post this one. I don't know. I'm not going to post it. But if you want to post it, that's fine. But okay. So, we're not going to necessarily review concepts, but we're going to try and move on new stuff. Magic circuits are considered a pseudo-nervous system. I put pseudo in quotes there. They're part of your soul, not your body, but the physical expression of them is just an effect of using them, but you do need them to actually qualify as a magus. So mages have magic circuits. Simple as. But the actual... You're going to hear a lot of language about the circuits and their integration and a lot of stuff. They're more metaphysical than physical, but they are still kind of linked to your physical form. Got it? Okay. So, what the magic circuit do is they form pathways which connect the material and astral planes, and which conduct and convert your life energy into magic energy. Basically, when you're doing the Magecraft stuff, the mages channels energy through their circuits. You use this to connect to your greater thaumaturgical system, which we talked about last time. When you make this connection, if you do this step correctly, you connect your energy, you do the system. This allows you to do magic spells as you understand them. So basically, you have magic goo inside you. You do the magic goo. It connects you. You're a router, and you're going to connect to the server that is your magic system, and ask the server to please give you a magic spell. The energy for which is provided by your circuits. Like I've said this before. It's interesting how much Nasu's magic system is analogous to like computer programming or electrical engineering. I wonder if maybe he studied something else in a previous life. But yeah, so that's, if you're wondering how magic circuits let you do the magic, that's how. So, every mage has circuits. They don't start open, though. First, you have to learn how to run your magical energy through them to activate them and become aware of them. So, nobody will... Well, for the most part, I gotta qualify everything with Nasu first. For the most part, nobody will accidentally activate their magic circuits and just stumble into magic. Somebody has to teach you how to activate them. Once you activate them and open them, you develop your own specific triggers to open the circuits and start the flow so you can actually use your Magecraft. This is described that, for instance, Shiro preps his circuits by imagining the hammer of a gun falling. Rin imagines being stabbed with a knife, like what that would feel like. There's a lot of like fight or flight type responses used to kind of activate this sensation. Presumably so it's like easier to memorize and get on. So, because your circuits are something you're born with innately, you cannot improve their number or quality on your own. It is possible to translate some circuits from one person to another, but this carries a risk like an organ transplant. Put a pin in that, we're going to come back to that later. But in general, this is full-blown, you're born with circuits of X number and quality, and that's what you get. So this means some people have disappointing amounts of circuits, some people have not disappointing amounts of circuits, and that's just how it is. There was a fun commentary on this. Shiro was a dumbass, and he thought he had to make new circuits whenever he used them, so he partially converted his real nervous system into magic circuits, which was a dumb and dangerous thing to do. As most things Shiro does are. This means that he has more circuits than he should, probably, but using his circuits is more painful and accident-prone than it needs to be. This is why, if you've ever watched a Fate anime or anything, Shiro usually like freaks out and has to lie down on the ground after doing magic, because he's learned it wrong as a joke, only not because nobody taught him to do this. He was just an idiot who did it. I think this is actually in Unlimited Blade Works where Rin chews him out and it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, nerd? You're bad at this. Why are you so bad? Clearly it's handicap, so he can't be too OP. Now, interestingly enough, speaking of Fate Stay Night characters, Kyrie was born from a lineage that didn't have a lot of circuits, but he has a lot of magic circuits as a blessing for his own father's faith. It gives him the power to work miracles, aka use the Holy Sacrament's Magecraft. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a literal miracle or just we did some weird in vitro magic circuitification. But yeah, apparently Kirie's magic circuits are a gift from God. Cool. Great. Good job, buddy. Good job, Yahweh. Anyway. Just threw that fun trivia fact in there. So, like fucking everything with mages, your circuits have a quantity and a quality which is measured in various ways, including numbers, letter grades, etc. Why these nerds have to classify everything, I don't know, but humans love categories.
They like boxes.
Yeah, they like boxes. So, depending on your individual personage and your heritage, you will get a different kind of box. Some families have a very low count of circuits, but theirs are high quality. The Aozaki family, for instance, I'm going to say how many circuits an average mage has. Apparently, Aozaki Toko only has that many, but her circuits are a higher quality, so she's actually really strong in her family. Some families have very low circuit counts, but high quality. Others are super numerous and dense. They become basically blue bloods in terms of circuits, because, of course, we have to do everything that way. Blue blood do magic circuito. That was probably slightly racist, but also Nasu loves to just transliterate and Japanize everything. Anyway, so I do have some stats for you if you guys are curious about the vague number of magic circuits. So your average mage has about 20 circuits. Shiro clocks in at 27 circuits, but they're supposedly of low quality. Shiro can only manage much lower magical energy than he should, probably because of his dumb handicaps. Rin has about 40 natural circuits, so about twice as average. And Sakura was supposed to start with the same amount of natural output, so she should also have about 40 circuits native. Luvia's the highest character with a measured number of circuits and has about 100, but we don't know how many of these are natural to her body, for things we'll get into later. Remember, I told you to put a pin in something. But just know that, at least as far as this is described, Luvia has some of the highest circuit count we know as a character. Shockingly, this is not a thing that's necessarily super detailed. There are a couple more example characters who I didn't include, just because their numbers weren't really unique and special. Like, for instance, I already told you that Aozaki Tokuro has, like, 20 circuits. But, in general, this feels like something that definitely fell off after Fate Stay Night. Actually clocking how many circuits everybody has. Now, because your circuits are partially astral, they aren't actually part of the mage's body. While usually destroying the brain will stop somebody from doing magic, and other physical effects on the body can interfere with the circuits, for instance, the origin bullet, there are also cases where practitioners have continued magic circuit activity even when their vital functions have ceased. Clinically, they are dead, but they still do magic stuff. Actually, and I believe Bazette has a rune for this. But yeah, no, there are totally cases where, while there is some physical body linked to your magical body circuits, they aren't necessarily literally linked, letting you do fun setups. So, there's also something called a magical reactor or core. There's an analogy for this, because of course there is, which is that if a circuit is a single machine that produces magical energy, a reactor is a whole factory for magical energy. Some characters in Phantasmal Creatures have these cores or reactors inherent to their body. Big names, obviously, here are Artoria and Siegfried. They possess the Dragon Core, so they have vastly higher magical output than normal humans. So Siegfried, Sigurd, Artoria, Mordred, because she's basically a carbon copy of Artoria, etc., etc. A lot of these characters have basically inherent abilities to produce big boy magic energy. There are also external items like mystic codes, which can count as magical reactors. Prelati's spellbook, for instance, is considered to be a standalone magic reactor, which supplies Giles with all the magical energy he needs, because he is not originally a magus, so his quality of magic should probably be pretty low, but the book counts. Also, just another fun thing, talking about Zero, when he's going on his big spiel about how cool his wizard lab is, Kaneth mentions that he has 3 magical reactors in his hotel room, which Kiritsugu blows up with C4. So that's why you gotta think in curves, guys. And of course, if you're an extra special magic man, you don't even need circuits to do magic stuff. AKA, some beings possess a factor or quality known as regression to the age of gods, or reversion to the age of gods, which is also ranked and qualified, because of course it is. This isn't about density or quality of their powers, but rather how far their abilities are from what modern humans are capable of. Basically, how potent the mysteries they can recreate is. So, the further you are from modern mages, the higher your ranking of your regression to the age of gods. This may even be how certain casters function. Like, for instance, we had this conversation off and on about Medea, for instance. Like her quality of Magecraft. It may be that, for instance, because her magics are from the age of gods, they possess kind of this regression quality, even if it's not spelled out. Mm-hmm. And some other characters are just inherently. This is a big factor of Arcade from Arcade? Fuck. I don't know the Tsukihime, I'm sorry. I can't even help you.
Only Van.
Funny vamp, yes, correct. She has this quality, for instance, to explain how she continues to be OP bullshit. But yeah, so there's special exceptions. Certain creatures don't even need magic circuits. They're just magic men. So now, we're about halfway done with that topic. Now that we've established the breadth of circuits, we're going to go ahead and jump into the magic crests, because they are actually closely linked. The crest is considered the most valuable treasure of the Magi, and this is because the crest is actually a form of magic circuit, so it is a magic circuit itself. That's why they are one topic. It has been stabilized and preserved so it can be passed on. So it has been physically stabilized, made into a more corporeal form that you can actually keep constant and move around. So it won't go away when the mage's soul goes away, and it can actually be physically moved. So basically, at some point, a mage will take a piece of his own circuits and basically cut them off, and archive all the spells and magical knowledge he has inside of them, and convert this into a crest. This creates an archive of Magecraft knowledge and potential, which grows in power and complexity with each generation, and is one of the pretty fundamental things to the mage's attitude. Much like how when we talked about with Magecraft, right, the idea that, like, mages are limited by mystery, so the more that gets found out, the less power they have, and the more people that access magic, the shittier they are at magic, right?
Yes.
So that kind of explains a lot of their attitudes towards humans and whatnot. This explains the other thing about mages. In order for mages to reach their goals, they have developed this crest system. They gather up all their knowledge and pass it on to a future generation. That's pretty key to how they're supposed to work. It's one of their fundamental, principles of Magecraft. So the benefits of a crest are that if you have one, you can learn or activate spells in it simply by focusing your energy and basically finding the right incantation to use. You can basically concentrate, focus on your crest, and be like, Crest, do I have a spell to shoot lasers? Crest is like, you have 425 laser beam spells. Which one would you like to use? And you're like, Siri, use laser beam number 4. And then you will, by concentrating, you will know what the right incantation is to use that laser beam number 4 in your magic system. Pretty neat. Kind of like, different ways that you may have experienced learning magic in different RPGs. Not quite like you forget them after you cast them level, but definitely like, I have a library that I can access and prep if I have time to focus. Also, the other thing is, they're literally magic circuits, so this means that you can improve the quality of magic circuits in your air. You can actually use it to supplement your own circuits and amplify your magical abilities. So, for instance, remember how we talked about how Luvia has like 100 circuits? Mm-hmm. I said we don't know if that's natural because some of those are probably from possessing at least one magic crest. Possibly more because the Edelfelts are known for having multiple crests. I believe that Rin is supposed to have about 30 supplemental circuits from her possession of her family's magic crest, so she actually has around 70 maybe, etc., etc. So, yes, if you can inherit a magic crest, you get a lot more extra magic circuits to use in your Magecraft, plus a lot of free knowledge to go with it. And then also, they are designed to preserve the life of the owner of the crest, so long as you have magical energy, it will continue to supplement your life energy, so you don't die, because it's important to keep them around. And basically, the longer running your lineage is, the more stable and powerful your crest is. Because obviously more and more information gets piled up in it. Institutional knowledge is a great thing, guys, and this is how mages run. They run on institutional knowledge. It also is why upstarts and new mages, or mages without a bloodline, are usually laughed at, because they don't have any of this history or power, so they can't do shit. It's also probably why, for instance, say, somebody like Waver, who is real big brain. He's real smart at the magic. He understands a lot of magic stuff. You usually don't see him doing as much with magic as you see, his students do, for instance, or especially higher level mages who are professors who have big lineages. They've got a lot more magic pre-stockpiled to use than he does.
Also, if I remember correctly, I believe Waver's not that great in the magic circuit department either.
Yes, probably, because it's one of those things that kind of builds up over time. If you have a lot of mages with good magic circuits come together, your children usually have good magic circuits, so it's usually an inherited thing. Like I said, Kyrie, for instance, came from a bloodline that didn't have a lot of magic circuits. His was just happenstance. Waver probably comes from a lineage which doesn't have a very high number or quality of magic circuits either. So it really plays into the good old classism of mages. But as we've talked about, there's a lot of loopholes and interesting factors of Magecraft, so it's not necessarily a one-to-one guarantee. So the crest itself usually takes the form of a magic circle and can be embedded in the body in a variety of locations. Rin's magic crest is apparently in her arm. We see in the Case Files anime, Ogamari has the anime view crest embedded in her forehead, etc., etc. So as noted above, transferring circuits like this is like an organ transplant. You can usually only do it with a compatible donor and subject, and it can be difficult and painful. So, this is where I'm pulling out that pin. And lighting the grenade. No. But it's the kind of thing that you have to be careful of, which is why usually you pass it down via family members. Because that's, like an organ transplant, usually okay. There are certain herbal medicines and other techniques mages have developed to kind of speed this process along. And also, apparently, basically, I'm gonna guess this is probably a bullshit number Nasu made up, but supposedly if your lineage goes back about 500 years, your genetic information is apparently smoothed out so that there's lots of compatible people, which means that it's usually an easier process. This could go back to just having a longer-running magic circuit makes it more stable. So, to make this easier, they tend to do transplants slowly over time and while the heir is young. For instance, by the time of Fate Zero, Rin has already fully inherited her family's magic crest. Or at least she's begun the process, and then Tokyo may set aside the rest of it already to go in there, in case he died, which he did.
Stabs.
Meanwhile, Emiya Kiritsugu did not. He made no effort to preserve his magic crest or pass it on to Shiro, for his own reasons, which means it died with him unless the Mage Association stole it.
That'd make a great fanfic.
Yeah, it would be a great weird one. But yeah, so because only one subject can have the crest implanted, unless, like I said, there are some sorcery traits and some bloodlines which have the ability to split their crests or maintain multiple crests. Normally, you can only have one heir, which has led to rivalries in some families, or other issues of needing to have only one heir and disown all others, as we know from Rin and Sakura. As I said earlier, Rin and Sakura are both perfectly valid heirs to the Tosaka family magic. It's just that, that's a problem. Because if it played out normally, Sakura would have gotten nothing. The way it did play out was Tokiomi really, really needs to read his adoption pamphlets better. And Sakura did not get nothing, but she might have been better off with nothing. Especially because, as we know, it turns out Rin is not an asshole. But also, speaking of crests and Rin, it seems like items like magic jewels and runes can be considered a simplified form of crest. Basically, they're a way to store spells and energy to use them later. They're kind of like a temporary circuit system. So, yeah, this is kind of explaining Rune Magecraft. They are a pre-built magic circuit which contains preset spells that you can activate anytime. Some of them are more robust than others. Similar with magic jewels, you can really stockpile some shit over years in them. As mentioned above, the Mage Association does have an apparatus to recover and store crests in order to preserve magical knowledge. So, yes, it's entirely possible that if they heard the mage killer Kiritsugu died, they tried to slurp up his crest, because his dad did some weird shit that got him super assassinated.
Also, I'm guessing this is what Waver is using to try and restore the Amelwe crest.
Yes. He's probably noted that they've got archives and stuff that they can go back on. So, yeah, there are systems to recover everything and keep moving forward. Though, obviously, because it's a physical item, it is possible for it to be completely destroyed. But, yeah, as we've discussed before, the Mage Association doesn't like to let go of knowledge, even if they don't necessarily like people to have knowledge. So they are like, oh, no. We can't throw away magical goods. That's bad. Much like how Waver and a lot of people were appalled in that, I think that was the first episode. Was that the first episode of Case Files? Planet Ghost Man? I think that was the first one. No, the first one was was the first one a flashback? I forget. It was one of the earliest plots. Go ahead, Lucky.
Wait, now Lucky isn't sure anymore. Heck.
Anyway, that was a big concern of that mystery of the guy who got disembodied, because he killed himself to obtain more immortality and was eating people because he couldn't pass. He wanted to solve his magic thing in his lifetime and not just pass it on to his kid, which is not how mages work. But yes, so there's a couple more fun lore facts to talk about crests. If you own a crest, you are subject to the Grand Order. I think we've talked about this before. This is a law of the Mage Association that prevents you from committing suicide while holding the crest, as it must be preserved. It's kind of apparently somewhat of a self-suggestion compulsion, but is not complete. It is still possible. You just need a very, very good reason to do so. It's just one of the generally accepted laws of mages. If you hold a crest, you don't get rid of it.
By the way, Omega, it was episode 2.
It was episode 2. Okay, so the first one was kind of the setup episode, the flashbacks and stuff. Okay, I was trying to remember. I knew it was early. I couldn't remember how early. But if this sounds familiar, it's because the Grand Order of the Coronation Law actually has its origins with our good buddy Gitya. He created the original Grand Order designation as a curse. It links certain bloodlines of mages with the demon gods in order to carry out the plan of incineration. So, Lev Laner was not always Floros, but he was one of those Grand Order designated bloodlines. So, boom, he became the demon god Pillar Floros. Which actually, in an alternate timeline, I think it's a Case Files case, he actually does defy the Grand Order and commit suicide. So the plan cannot come to fruition. Yay. We also know that Mozart's bloodline was connected to one of these, but he chose not to go down that path of Magecraft, etc., etc. So, yeah, that's just a fun little FGO lore fact that kind of brought that around. There's also Zokin's crest worms, but they're gross, so we don't really want to talk about them.
No.
But the short version, all you need to know is that, yes, the worms are actually like a thing he does to make more crests and more circuits, but it's really gross, so let's not. And that's basically everything. Like, there's no real, like, punchline to circuits and crests. It's just, no, these are just part of the mechanics. I do feel glad that I did split this out, because between all the subjects, that would have been a very, very, very long Teach Me. Whereas this is a more manageable one. But yeah, so now you've got kind of those two-parters, and hopefully understand kind of the physical and lineage aspect of mages a little bit more now that you know how they do. We actually only have 2 topics left. So if you guys got any suggestions, I'll take them. We've currently got what is a homunculus and what are phantasmal species open still. So go ahead and throw in your suggestions to my box now. By which I mean, like, leave comments or stuff places. Don't, like, submit them as mailbox. That would be weird. You can, maybe, I guess, but if you're gonna ask a question of me anyway, that would be weird. But yeah, okay, I think that's everything in our show notes. We're rocking a good solid 2 hours and 45 minutes. Answer your question, X, yes, it is theoretically possible to steal or force a crest. They are physical objects as a crest. So yes, it is. I assume extracting them forcefully would be very hard, but I did explain that, how that works. Okay, so that probably falls into homunculus. People ask me about Ilya. I did not see any really specific notes about Ilya's magic circuits.
I do know she was built for magic circuits, though.
Yes, because she is crafted. That's another thing, right? Like, that would probably come up more in our What is Homunculus.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm assuming that is one of the many ways that you can try and cheat the problem of inheriting crests and magic circuits is just make one with more. Like, Sieg, for instance, is a homunculus who has a very, very high density of magic circuits. He was designed that way.
Then you give him a Dragon Core reactor, and he big magic, yo.
Yes, though obviously the dead count shapeshifter and the other stuff, his version of the demi-servant thing is also very taxing. So even with his abilities, it's intense. Yeah, I don't see any explicit notes about how many circuits Ilya has. She's covered in command seals, like as part of her being the Lesser Grail terminal. We will probably, if we do homunculus, we will probably hit that up because I'm sure that'll be noted somewhere about how the Einsburn homunculi are different. Because obviously we do actually see a few different types of homunculi. There are the Einsburn and the Yig the Millennia style homunculi, which are just people, though usually albino. And then there's like the ones we fight in FGO, which are more of the classic Goo-man kind of look and more. Yes, probably. Kiritsugu's teacher was a mage hunter like him, and so she took down rogue mages who had sealing designations and bartered their crests back. Like I said, there's a whole underground that since the Mage Association can extract and store crests, I'm sure there's all kinds of ways to like get out there. And as for there was one more question in chat I will field. Multiple crests. Yes, you could theoretically implant multiple. It's like multiple organ implantation. It would probably be a painful and dangerous process that you'd want to supplement with something.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if you were somehow blood related to multiple mages, that could be easier, but also that would be less common on the count of, like we said, the fact that mages traditionally, like I suppose they're not really concerned about population growth, but I wonder about how they would pull it off, how they have a stable population, because of the way their system works of only having one heir, So there are definitely some challenges there. Sorry, I had to post something to hell and save your work really quick. All right. So, I think that's everything. Unless somebody in the chat has some more questions for me in my researches. I mean, listen, if you're doing something original, you can go wherever you want. Like we said, the Natsuverse is built on... It's very strange, right? Natsuverse is built on fundamental universal rules that are usually Magic A is Magic A, right? Functional magic systems, very technical, very, like I said, almost programming-minded. And then we're full of stuff that just works because mystery, right? Like, we've kind of got the best of both worlds. You can totally just come up with exceptions and other oddballs.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Natsuverse is a realm based on rules and then exceptions to said rules.
Yes, exceptionalism is a major theme. Shiro Emiya. He's a really crappy mage. He can do, like, one thing, and he does it badly because he's such a dumbass. But also, he punched Gil that one time. Well, technically,
honestly, also, honestly, thinking about it, like, fuck, the way that, specifically Unlimited Blade works, I think that's the only route when he actually gets to use it. He literally learned it by clashing with his future self.
Right, he did a process to realize he had this power by learning from I think Archer explicitly calls him out and said it. So I've heard about learning from your past lives, but learning from your future life is weird.
Which is almost, can you consider, like, a weird inversion of a crest.
And then, the thing is that makes him do it in Unlimited Blade Works is Rin actually breaks off part of her... She puts part of her magic circuits, and I don't think her crest, but puts up part of her magic circuits into a gem and feeds them to Shiro so he can... as kind of a pseudo-magic crest effect, so he can get more magical energy, he can actually do his thing, which he does. Mm-hmm. But still, it's very interesting. It's also really interesting to think about magical output, like, Artoria has super high-quality magic circuits and magical output, but because she's a servant, she still needs to get that energy from somewhere. So, like, she's a really energy-intense servant to maintain, because I guess she needs to, like... Well, okay, so the way to put it is, I phrased this earlier, the way you create magical energy is with your life energy. So I guess because servants don't have life energy, their starting energy is supplied by their master and the Holy Grail. So in order for Artoria to start her conversion to make shitloads of magical energy, she needs some magical energy from her master to start, and it uses a lot. Magical energy, well, I don't know if that would be long enough, but theoretically magical energy and life energy might be another topic on its own. Let me guys know if you want something like that in the comments. I think that might be a little short, but it could be a subject to cover. It's very general. There's literally a generic Japanese term for magic energy, maryaku. Like, that's not a loan word. They have their own word for it, which is very generic. Anyway, we're approaching on 3 hours. I think we've covered all our Let's Talk. So I guess we should do our wrap-up type stuff. Mm-hmm. There's about 4 days and some hours left in Gilfest, so by next week we will know for sure what we get. It should be the rerun. It should probably start right away, but if they give us a couple of days, wouldn't be shocked either. Let it actually become October.
I'm ready for neat heat shenanigans.
Yeah, and I'll admit it's a little selfish of me, but if anybody complains about our localization again, I would just want to point them to all the videos of VTubers laughing their asses off at Yamete Kuda Stop. Like, again, I'd already heard Japanese people talk like that. Now it's just even more gratifying to, like, see, like, popular as, like, a thing as, like, adopt the Japanglish kind of weirdness.
Oh, no, those people
that's legit a move.
No, a lot of people have literally changed fucking cats because now it is the popular end thing. Because...
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. By the way, that was Coco's meme review. Matsuri really loved Yamete Kuda Stop. Killed him.
Oh, no, it did.
I think it came back up in the one Coco did with Fubuki as well, and Fubuki also liked Gomen Nasari and Yamete Kuda Stop. And also Super Burger Time. That was a combining of the fact that people meme Coco with Super Chato Time and Hamburger. So somebody kitbashed those together, and Fubuki loved it. Anyway, if you want to hear more of our VTuber thoughts, tune into What's Up. That'll be coming up later this week. We record that tomorrow, aka today if this is public. So it should come out the next day. Yay. Yedge. But next week on Let's Talk FGO, we should hopefully know what's coming next for NA, and it should be the Himeji Castle rerun. We may or may not find out what's happening next with Japan. They have about 6 days left, so technically it will be over, but you never know these days. Will it be that big story event people are clamoring for? Will it be Proto Merlin right away? Who knows? Be hilarious. Be hilarious if they wait for this event and the event and they're like, FGO Arcade collab number 5. Proto Merlin and some CEs. Go spend money at arcades. Okay, thanks, bye. I don't think they're gonna do it, but it would be funny. Okay, sorry, I had a roll my bones a little. I think it's everything from the Let's Talk FGO front. Sorry guys, it's still a ways to go before there's another Wanted. SITA and I won't be until later in October. Though, do go back and watch Wanted Osaka Hime, please. Yeah, okay. I think that's all I got for that. Stay tuned for more streams this week. Hopefully Lucky will be able to pull off his dual gacha stream tech.
Yes.
He's got all the set for it. Excuse me. And I think it's everything you need to know about us. So, I'm going to go ahead and do the outro if Lucky doesn't have any final thoughts to remind anybody about.
Nope. Mind empty.
Thoughts empty. Sleep equal no. So, if you like this video and you watch it on YouTube, be sure to give it a like. If you have any comments, leave in the comment section down below. What brides do you want? What kind of topics do you want for Teach Me? I think I asked the audience a couple of other questions. Hit me up in them commentos. You can also join us on our Discord. That link is, as always, in the video description and on our channel page. It's a public Discord. Anybody can join. It's cool. If you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to our channel to always get our latest videos. And also consider hitting the bell for notifications, even if you're already subscribed, so you always know when we post a new video, or when we stream, or when we do any of that stuff. It's great. It's a great tool. I think we're at about 20 to 30% of people have notifications on. Yay. Consider bumping that. And of course, you can also join this channel. I figured this is the last show of the month. I'll throw in one more membership, big push. But we do have YouTube memberships if you want to contribute to us a little bit, and you can get access to some membership badges and some emotes. And occasionally I'll drop some members-only posts, just some previews and stuff. It's fun. And if we get a shitload of members, maybe we could do members-only streams. But the big thing I said at the front, and said earlier, is consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early in audio format for as little as $1 a month, or $10 a year, because you can do annual memberships now. And at higher levels, you can do things like vote on Teach Me Omega-sensei polls, listen to shows being recorded live, get shoutouts, etc. And it's a great way to support us. Ooh, is that legal? Can we do that? Somebody in chat had a great suggestion. Mystic Code, groom/bride. Could work. Could be a thing.
I'm pretty sure the MC is legal by now.
I mean, we've been going for 5 years. It should be. But also, FGO's weird. They're going to Peter Pan us. We're not allowed to grow up. Okay. I think that's the show. We'll leave you with that thought. And we'll go about our business. So, we will see you next week for more Let's Talk FGO. And be sure to check out What's Up as well. They've been doing great lately. And it would be great if you would spend your time with us.
Wait, would it be an Eastern or Eastern or Western bride, though?
You know what? I really don't know.
Bride bomb!